Hello, ladies and gentlemen, racers, drivers, and watchers. Thank you very much for joining us for the GT4 Rookie Series. We'll get to the Open in just a little while. Before we get to seeing what the championship has in store for us, let's take a look at the calendar first. The calendar right now stands for us, for the rookies, going to Bathurst. The next week, we're going to be at Zandvoort, finishing it off at the Nürburgring. That's the same for the rookies and the GT4 Open Championship. All of our iRacing series have unfortunately concluded so far. So we've got that all underway. So we've got remaining our West Coast Championship, where we're going to be at Paul Ricard next, Zandvoort, and then for the GT3 Championship, our staple championship, we're going to be racing around the Watkins Glen, the Nordschleife, and then Hungaroring to finish out the championship series. Special events coming at you fast and quick. The Spooky Suzuki event is going to be October 30th. Come check it out and go ahead and upload your liveries for a special livery contest. Sun Sprint at Zandvoort is going to be on November 3rd at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Flooded Silverstone is going to be on November 6th at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for two 20-minute races. Let's make sure we give thanks to all of our Patreon producers. Thank you very much to our V12 Exotics, and thank you very much to our V8 Muscle and Inline 4 donors. With all that being said and done, let's get to seeing what the championship standing has in store for us. Aaron Silva leads with 374 points. Following behind is Pedro Artoni with 354. And we got 347 to Mario Jr.'s. It looks like the Limit Road Racing team is running away with it. Fourth in the championship is going to be Alex Hansen with 306 to his name. 299 for Jeff Franks, Thomas Storms, Dr. Porkchop, Jaeger Caro, Wilson Ortiz, and Colin Sugg are going to be all in your top 10 for this GT4 Rookies Fall Championship Series. We've only been into 6 of the 8 rounds of this championship. We've got a lot more left to go. Let's go to seeing what the qualifying session has in store for us right away. Are our drivers ready to conquer the mountain? Well, they better be ready to conquer the mountain. It's about that time for them to do so. Did I know today is National Dessert Day? I knew there was a reason I bought ice cream today. That Porsche of Colin Sugg, as he sits 10th place in the championship right now, could be doing a little bit better than what he's been on right now. He's sitting there nestled in 5th place. He's improving by about a second right now, so that should promote him well into the top 5. As long as he maintains this pace and consistency in through the final corner, he should be on for at least P3. Getting to the line, he promotes himself up into P3, and Alejandro Pulgarin is going to be bumped back by Alex Hansen, surprisingly. With a 213.8 to his name, Alex Hansen bumps back the 213.9 of Alejandro Pulgarin. What's up, people, says Eric Gakassian in the YouTube chat. Welcome, Mr. Gakassian. Gonna hit you early tonight. Fun fact about the Bathurst 1000, and boy, I actually have some ready for you. So, did you know the original layout of the Bathurst 1000, held at Mount Panorama, used to be a 500-mile race extended to a grueling 1,000-kilometer event, making it a true test of skill and strategy, teamwork, and the drivers of their teams. It have eventually evolved, but it's been a staple of Australian motorsport since its inception in 1960. How was that for a fun fact? And thank you very much for keeping it race-related, Squatchmonger. What's going on, Brian Clementi? welcome to the party. Ooh, Colin Suggs sending it there at the Dippa. Managing to keep the car together, but is his lap time all quite there? He's gained about a 10th, and the odds seem to be rolling out of pit lane right now. As the 10-minute mark hits, all the odds rolled out quick, fast, in a hurry, and all the evens should be in the pit lane right now. Except for the 444 for some reason, who maybe cannot read the numbers. Or was not there for the drivers using Like to the World Racing. Hello and welcome to the chat. I wish we had V8 supercars and ACC as well. Alejandro Pulgarin is still out there, but obviously won't improve on this lap, not with all that lap traffic that he has to deal with now. Adam Strange requested a fun fact. Man, you guys are going to drain me of all my fun facts, quick, fast, in a hurry. Did you know that Mount Panorama is actually a public road? Mount Panorama is a public road and is closed off to the public for events that are sanctioned here to be run at the circuit. So you could take a rental car and come drive Bathurst Mount Panorama on your free time. I have more fun facts coming at you. I have to start marking these off. Don't forget to thank Beyonce before she gets you. Thank you, Beyonce, Beyonce, Beyonce. No, the entire track is a public road. The entire track is a public road. You can even see it down the Conrad Straight. Who shall be cursed tonight? Probably going to be Pulgarin, I'm guessing, as he's still out there qualifying his little heart out. I feel like I've mentioned his name 3 times in a row now. Just like Beetlejuice, he's going to get the curse. Qualifying as it stands for now, Alex Hansen leads Pulgarin, leads Saunderson, Sugg, Jacob Curtis from FNM, Wilson Ortiz, and Jason Stahl. That's your top 7. The juice is loose, baby, says Disco Jaden. Thank you very much for the follow, Stizzy, and I think with that, we have just hit our 2,300 mark. Thank you so much for being our 2,300 subscriber. You win absolutely nothing, as we have no prizes to give out for our 2,300 follower. I apologize, but you're still our 2,300 follower. Pulga juice, Pulga juice, Pulga juice. What? I think Eric just had a stroke. Indeed, the prize are the friends we made along the way, for certain. Jacob Curtis. Jacob Curtis snatching me up. Oh, man. He's a comedian about the flies. Stizzy says, look, all I'm saying is the 232 got 22 on lockdown. Okay. Anything beyond that will be a positive gain overall. Pulgarin in the 444, still doing his qualifying session, has jumped Alex Hansen and is now sitting in P1. Hopefully we can get one of the admins to bump him back and promote Alex Hansen one more spot. Oh, Beetlejuice comment. Got it. And you were saying Pulgarin juice. Oh, I get it. I get it. I get it. Jaeger Caro, you did some crazy lap times too. I was seeing a 2:12 your name, I'm pretty sure. That was pretty nice. Well, the nice part is about the valid laps concern, Squatchmonger, is that exactly, it's odd to not get valid laps out here. The only invalid laps that you would receive is when you've touched the wall, and if you've touched the wall, well, then you've got bigger issues than just an invalid lap. You've got damage to your vehicle. Bulgarin leads Hansen, Mario Jr., Saunderson, Luke Nelson, Colin Sugg, Jacob Curtis, Pedro Artoni, Wilson Ortiz, Dr. Porkchop, Tiago Neres, a new name to this championship, Jonathan Stall, Michael Campbell, Aaron Silva, R.L. Brown, Jeff Franks, Wade Georgeson, Brian Menser, Stefano Rinaldi, Rally Dutchy, Jaeger Caro, and Spady Bud. Obviously, a few of those drivers not setting qualifying times just yet. We even see a lone KTM out on track tonight. That is pretty wicked. We are seeing some disqualifications. Naughty, tisk, tisk, tisk. Jaeger Caro and Spady Bud getting disqualified, not from the event entirely, but just from the qualifying session. They will be starting at the back of the grid or potentially from the pit lane. Those two drivers having incidences that warranted such penalties here at the previous race and now being served in this race. Brian Biskey, yes, Domage is friends for damage. Pull Games, welcome back after 1.5 years. A lot of changes. Yes, indeed, my friend. Yes, indeed. 2.5 minutes left in this qualifying session. Is Aaron Silva able to get a lap in finally? Go, 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 Limit Road. Cheers in chat. Light to the World Racing says, good job, public humiliation. Yes. That's what I'm here for. That's what I'm here for. I'm here to broadcast all the mistakes and shame people for their mistakes. Shame Jaeger Caro, shame Spady Bud. Tisk, tisk, tisk. But no, obviously they're not bad drivers. They're not even bad people. They just made mistakes, pushing it to the absolute limit, and that's what the rookies are absolutely for Light to the World Racing. That's what the rookies are for. It's to be able to push your skill to the limit and see how far you can push yourself and your vehicle. Jaeger Caro says it was a light tap. Oh, itty bitty tap. just a tip, just a tap, tap, tap-maroo. Tapping it in. Happy to be on Pull Games. I think your lap may be invalid because you did that while the odds were out, Pulgarin. But yes, you are sitting on pole right now. Can we talk about the GT4 rookies race at Spa? Why not? We were talking about just about everything else. Why not talk about something other than the racing that's going on right now? Don't you get a free sub for having Amazon Prime? You sure do! In case anybody has not used it, please go ahead and click the blue crown button and go ahead and use your free Prime subscription here at the Tracklicious to avoid getting hit with any of the ads. There should be a blue diamond, if you're on PC, a blue crown that you should be able to use. Otherwise, I cannot remember how to use it. You have to have your Twitch linked to your Prime account first. That's something you have to do on the Amazon Prime account, actually. I do remember how to use it now. Yeah. And make sure that your accounts are linked. That's the other big thing. Qualifying session as concluded. Polgarin leads Hansen, Mario Jr., Luke Nelson, Thiago Neres, Aaron Silva, and Chris Anderson, Colin Sugg, Pedro Artoni, Jacob Curtis from FNM, Wilson Ortiz, and Dr. Porkchop, Rally Dutchy, Wade George and Jeff Franks, Jason Stahl, and Michael Campbell, R.L. Brown, Brian Menser, Stefano Rinaldi, Jaeger Caro, and Spady Bud, both of them starting from the pit lane. Dr. Porkchop out there not to improve this lap. He's about 3/10 slower than his previous, but Pedro Artoni, the man, the myth, the legend in the Camaro, sure is out there to improve. He's got a little damage to that vehicle. That man has seen some barriers. That car has seen some things for sure. Thiago pulling off here at the Conrad Straight right after Bentley's and the V8 racing car, also from Brazil. Perhaps also being added to the Limit Road Racing stable. And Jeff Franks not able to improve. A 2:18.9 will keep him at the back of the grid right now in 15th place overall. Dr. Porkchop pulling in behind. Who is that in front? That'll be R.L. Brown, if I'm not mistaken. No, that's not R.L. Brown. R.L. Brown's driving for the Coach Dave Academy team. Not Wade Georgeson. Who else is driving an AMR? The number 3. That'll be Stefano Rinaldi, who's out there not to improve except for his own sake of getting a lap in, it looks like. And he will not improve. Starting from the back of the pack is Stefano Rinaldi. Pedro Artoni crosses the line, gets himself into 8th position overall. Rinaldi dips out of the way. And it looks like the Limit Road Racing team is here to put in some work. And we've got 2.5 minutes left to go before the race gets started. And there's one thing that I have forgotten to do. So forgive me. But this is necessary. Oh, this is necessary for sure. The people are going to love what I'm about to do. Oh, sorry for the ear bleed. Sorry for the ear bleed. We're bringing back the sexy sax, everybody. Oh yeah, let's go. I'm sorry for the ear bleeding drumness, but we needed to have the sexy saxophone come and play. Alejandro Bulgarin in the number 444 leads in first place. I know your ears, Jaeger Car. I'm sorry, but the sexy sax is necessary. It's necessary for the stream. Mario Jr. in P2, Alex Hansen in P3. In the 390, the 33 is in 4th place for Luke Nelson for the Dead Fish Racing team. Thiago Neres in the V8 Supercar. And Aaron Silva, the first of the Limit Road Racing team, other than Mario Jr., in 2nd place. Allison Racing for the Chris Saunderson team. Pedro Artoni, also in Limit Road, is in 8th place. Colin Sugg for Slug Racing in 34. Jacob Curtis for FNM, the Fear Nothing Moto team, is in P10. Wilson Ortiz from Limit Road Racing, the number 58, is going to be in 11th place. Rally Dutchy, the Street Animals, is going to be in 12th place. Then we've got Dr. Porkchop is in 13th place in the number 71. Got Wade Georgeton in the 707, the 6-star Racing in the 14th on his home turf. And Jeff Franks, Love Wins Racing, is in the number 73 in 15th place. And Jonathan Stahl in the Vilicious Racing car is in the 232 in 16th. Michael Campbell for the Square Parts in the 799. Squatchmonger subscribed with his Prime, thank you very much. RL Brown driving the Coach Dave Academy AMG. Brian Menser in the number 46 is in 19th place in the Porsche Motorsport car. Stefano Rinaldi is in 20th in the number 3. Sax is back, baby. Yagakaru in the number 20 in 21st spot in the number 920. Spady Bud starting from the pits in the 221 is in the 22 spot. Allison 28, thank you very much. The sexy sacks are over. But the racing has just begun. It's only just begun. Is there any way to show the country the drivers are from? Would like to cheer for any Canadian drivers. Go Canada, go. The brand of the vehicle shows nicely by the car number. I don't think there is. Not unless we see them in the bottom right-hand corner. I'll go through the drivers really quickly. And we'll see if we can find any Canadians for you. Luke Nelson, no. Chris Sunderson is going to be the first of them, the Canadian. Let's see if we can find any other Canadians for you. I think it might be Chris. Dr. Porkchop, another Canadian. So Dr. Porkchop, Saunderson. Jaeger Karu's a Canadian. But this is America, baby. That's right. You tell him, Light to the World Racing. You tell him. Woof, woof. You tell him. Ad starting in 4 minutes. I'm going to hit the snooze to snooze it for another 5. That's all I got. No, this is Australia. No, this is Patrick. This is Tracklicious, baby. We are nationwide, all across the globe. Coming at you live wherever you are at. We've got Brazil covered. We've got Australia covered. We've got it all covered. Who is that doing squirrely whirly things? And that Camaro out in front, and that'll be the one in front of Pedro Artoni or Aaron Silva, and that'll be Thiago Neres, who's really working those tires into its heat. Adam Strange, don't worry about the words that are coming out of my mouth, okay? Don't worry about the words that come out of my mouth. You just gotta listen for the things that are right. I think your ear holes may need some cleaning. I'm just kidding. No, you're right. I did say that wrong. We're nationwide and all across the world. Okay, look at him drifting. Look at him just drifting that Camaro. Warming up those tires like a madman. Thiago Neres might have actually grained his tires a little bit too early, possibly. I guarantee we'll see at least one person upside down. I'm pretty sure someone will end up upside down. I'm pretty sure we saw someone upside down at the end of the free practice session. Ah, Thiago is a limit road driver. Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. He's got a little Brazilian blood in his veins. A little loco moco, eh? You got Will Oro, you gotta get this man a livery. Or at least tell him the color scheme is black, green, and white striping. That way he can fall in line with the other limit road drivers. Well, we're about to hit the track, everybody. The green light is about to fall. We're on this 3.8 mile or 6.2 kilometer circuit. Alejandro Pulgarin leads the charge here as we head into Hell's Corner. Mario Jr. is in second. Alex Hansen is in third now. Luke Nelson, Thiago Neres, green, 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 away we go, and everything's looking neat and tidy. Nothing really happening at turn 1, though. We got a lot of side-by-side action tiptoeing through the first corner. Chris Sanderson is able to get by Aaron Silva right now, and that's the only move position made. Jeff Franks loses out of position to Wade Georgeson, the home runner here. Wade Georgeson stuck in the middle of this deep pack of cars. AMG on AMG crimes being committed. But Wade Georgeson has got something to prove on his home turf track. He's got to prove that he's the nation's best Australian sim racing driver out there, driving the 707. And there's a little bit of calamity in the background as Jeff Franks almost collected that Porsche in the background, the 46 of Brian Menser. They did have a little bit of contact, but nothing to write home about as both cars are driving neatly right now. Oh, Jeff Franks and Brian Menser getting close to each other again at the cutting, but everything seemingly working out as we head over into the first right-hander that we've got now. And that'll be Reed Park, turn 7. And back over to Salmon Park. A lot of parks here at the Bathurst Mount Panorama Circuit. Whoa, big old drifts from the 3 AMGs. And it looks like R.L. Brown might be the one keeping it the most collected right now. Side by side isn't going to work out too well going down in towards Skyline. But the drivers seem to find their groove and head down through single file line and onto the Dippa. Everything seems to be neat and tidy. Luke Nelson and Alex Hansen going side by side. A little bit of door banging there between Hansen and Nelson. Let's get an overhead view of the action in front. Luke Nelson leads Thiago Neres, leads Alex Hansen right now. A little side-by-side move now. Stuck in the middle is Alex Hansen trying to bob and weave right to find his racing space here. Hip check there by him and one of the Camaros. And I think that'll send one of the drivers off into the S's. No, both of the drivers off into the S's at the end of the Conrad Straight. Into the chase, another hip check goes for Alex Hansen, and another hip check for good measure. And I imagine that there'll be no love lost between drivers by the end of this one. Woo! Boy, is this spicy. The Limit Road racing car is getting shaky and bakey quite early. Alex Hansen now having to battle out with Thiago Neres, and also Aaron Silva lurking around the background. Let's look at Rally Dutchy and Wilson Ortiz, as Rally Dutchy is able to pull around the outside of Ortiz. And it's going to be side by side all the way down the mountain straight right now. The BMW pulling a little bit of its weight around right now. A little bit of a hip check there as they go over the crest. And now we head down into the quarry bend. Who's going to hold on to the inside line? That'll be Rally Dutchy, really riding those curbs like a railroad train and hooking it together. But it looks like Aaron Silva, Wilson Ortiz manages to hold on to the outside line, and it looks like Rally Dutchy got sucked into the white line on the outside of the track and made love, sweet, sweet, tender love to the wall. He's still got some battling left to go. He's got Dr. Porkchop to fend off as we head through the mountain section, Reed Park, Sullivan Park. Fun fact about Canada? Fun fact about Canada is it's not pronounced Canada. Oh, fun fact about Canada. Their money is named after Looney Tunes characters. They call them Loonies and Toonies, because they're all wackadoodles. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. But actually their money is named Loonies and Toonies. I'm not making that up. Everything else was made up. Rally Dutchy putting in some work, chasing down Wilson Ortiz right now. Stuck in the back is Dr. Porkchop, but Rally Dutchy's trying to go for a move up the inside, down the Conrad Straight. Will he go to the optimum line? He's going to follow Ortiz through. There he goes to the outside, inside line, and is able to send it up the inside. Will he blow his breaking point? No! He's able to get that BMW parked at a little bump in the rump there. I think Dr. Porkchop touched Wilson Ortiz there, not expecting that car to be able to slow down as quickly as it did, but it was able to do so. Rally Dutchy pulling off probably the move of a century there. Aaron Silva now getting next to Luke Nelson, and Thiago Neres and Alex Hansen have inverted their positions as well. The number the 390 getting past the 27. Oh, there goes a big look out of Aaron Silva now on Luke Nelson. And switchback engage, was able to get to the optimum line, but he's going to be on the outside line for the cutting, which won't be the best place to keep your car and might even drift off into the wall. There goes Sunderson up the inside line. And it made a look, couldn't quite act on it, and Sunderson had to back out of that one pretty quickly to save his own life. Now Sunderson's under threat from Jacob Curtis from FNM. See, I told you. Fun facts. Wilson Ortiz now battling it out with Wade Georgeson as he tumbled down the order there for just a second. But everything looking all right for Ortiz, but maybe not for long as Jaeger Carlos trying to put down some work. He said he put in some practice, and practice is paying off. Canada is also home of Degrassi, but that might be a little bit before your time as Jaeger Carlos practices not paid off as he runs into the wall right before the Forest Elbow, aka Bentley Corner. And that car has got some, let's say it all together, damage. Aaron Silva, whoa! Luke Nelson, Aaron Silva, what did I just watch? Whoa! Bust out the yellow flags. Aaron Silva and Luke Nelson almost had a catastrophe of an incident avoided by both, well, just nearly. And the 57 and the 33 are back in the 8th and 9th place. And that promotes a couple people further up the order. Colin Sugg leads by 17.5 seconds, nearly 19 seconds right now to Pulgarin. Mario Jr., Alex Hansen, Tiago Neris, Chris Saunderson, Jacob Curtis from FNM, Aaron Silva, Luke Nelson, Dr. Porkchop is in the top 10. Whoa. Let's get the yellow flag again for that 33. 33, and I believe that would have been the 232. Oh, he was pushed, not he jumped. That's what ended up happening. The 33 was pushed. He did not jump on his own accord. There was a little bit of an accident there between him and I think the 232. That would be the other car. But the 232 of Jonathan Stell, no, that's not him. There was an accident there between him and the 57 possibly? 57, Aaron Silva. Yep, that would be it. Aaron Silva, if I'm not mistaken. And almost side-by-side action into the Forest Elbow right now. And there's Luke Nelson chasing down the man that pushed him of Aaron Silva in the Limit Road racing car. Close, tight margins too, by the way. So who knows who's to blame except for the stewards. They'll know. Aaron Silva making it through on Colin Sugg. Yes, that is a move for position overall. Tight and neat through the chase after the Conrad straight. Promotes himself back up into 7th place overall. On board with Aaron Silva for the Limit Road Racing team. Let's take a look at Luke Nelson right now. Where did Luke Nelson just disappear to? There he is, Luke Nelson chasing down Colin Sugg. And Stefano Rinaldi, that's not the driver we're looking for. Someone redeem a quick hydrate for me. I'd appreciate it if possible. Thank you very much, Squatchmonger, for the hydrate. Much necessary in times like this. I think it might be Luke Nelson who's having the ping issues, or maybe it's myself having the ping issues. Wilson Ortiz chasing down Wade Georgeson right now, and we've got 10 minutes left in this session, and we've got another 20-minute race coming at you live. So if you didn't find enough action in this one, there will sure be more to come over the next hour. 2 hydrates for me. We're gonna drink from the Mike Nause official water jug. The 1-gallon container that we can possibly grab. The only thing that makes sense. Oh God, Eric's trying to waterboard me. Stop it. I'm gonna have to head over to the little racers room in between opens and rookies. Diego Caro, though, on that recovery drive of his after an earlier incident with a wall that he was able to recover from, doing pretty well right now, nestled into 14th position overall, and now he's chasing down Wilson Ortiz. A little hip check there between him and Ortiz, and that'll end in Tears for Fears. But Jaeger Carr does not secede that position, keeps driving right on through. And he's doing a good job of keeping that pace beneath him. He said he did some practice. It's obviously paying off. Hopefully he'll have a better race 2 than race 1. And obviously the positions will be set from the end of race 1 for race 2. R.L. Brown chasing down Rinaldi, though. And there's a Camaro in the background. I think that's Spady Bud trying to recover from his pit lane start, the number 221. Got some gaps forming right now. Jacob Curtis chasing down Saunderson. The USA car, Fear Nothing Moto, chasing down the Canadian. Fun fact about kangaroos at Bathurst, I wasn't prepared for that. This is actually funny. A fun fact about kangaroos in Bathurst, Australia is that they often roam freely in the surrounding areas, especially near parks or open spaces. Bathurst is known for its scenic landscapes, and kangaroos can frequently be spotted grazing in the early morning or late afternoon. Snakes are a great opportunity for visitors to these iconic animals in their natural habitat while enjoying the beautiful countryside of Bathurst. I'm curious how many times a kangaroo has been on track. It does happen. It's happened quite a bit, apparently. There isn't an exact count of how many times it's happened, but such occurrences are enough to be notable. Fun fact, kangaroos are not permitted to drive at the Bathurst 1000. That's discrimination, and I take offense to that, because I'm swole like a kangaroo. Whoa, hold on. Alex Hansen chasing down Mario Jr. This now has championship implications, folks. I'll give you a quick recap. Alex Hansen's in 4th place in the championship. Mario Jr.'s in 3rd. So Alex Hansen can gain some points that he needs to catch back up to Mario Jr. right now. Pedro Artoni and Aaron Silva not doing so well. Here goes a move from Alex Hansen at the inside of Skyline. trying to make something happen there, trying to force his opponent off onto a dangerous line, wasn't able to do so. And there was a car stopped there out on track, and that would be Brian Menser in the 46 stopped on track. Let's go back over to the Alex Hansen and Mario Jr. battle. Maybe the 390 had an incident at Forest Elbow. No, everything's okay there. Aaron Silva going a little bit slow through the mountain section. The number 57 having a yellow flag, possibly a lovemaking situation with a wall. Number 46 as well. Number 46 would be Brian Menser. Side-by-side action between Luke Nelson and Aaron Silva. Here's the rear view wing of Luke Nelson as he's able to get by Aaron Silva, and you can see how much damage is on that McLaren from that earlier incident. The Aston Martin topping out in a straight line now, coming down the back Conrad Straight. It's about 1 kilometer long. Number 33 nestles over the chase pretty well and gets by Aaron Silva with relative ease. Rally Dutchy Jaeger Karu. Whoa, both of them having excursions into the grass. Monkey see, monkey do. And they are holding the brakes right now, waiting to get it spun in the right direction. But Karu is able to keep on pulling off in the right direction. Rally Dutchy unable to do so. It looks like Jaeger Karu, the Jaeger Prime car, was able to keep on going. Ficky Ruby 48, thank you very much for the follow. You are the 2301 person. Well, now I gotta ban you. Darn it. Man. Man. I thought we had a nice thing going. And now I gotta ban this guy. Man. Whoa, and there's cars going off in the background. Sorry about that, folks. A little distracted by the ban hammer that I'm gonna have to throw down on Ficky Ruby. Yeah, we've got incidences. Henderson's in the pit lane right now. Let's see if we can get a recap of what happened to the number 18 very quickly. Oh, he was already making sweet, sweet love to that wall. There at the Dippa. Oh, more sweet, sweet, tender love at the Forest Elbow. And not even coming around the end of Forest Elbow. Leaders on the final lap already. Alex Hansen is able to get by, and what happened to Mario Jr.? He's spun out right now, the 193. Let's take a quick look back and see what happened. Mario Jr. coming through the final corner right now. Coming in, seems like he's doing okay. He's not touching the grass on entry, but he is touching the grass on exit. Spins up, lights up the rear end, and all of a sudden he goes off and into the wall. Alex Hansen promotes himself up into P2, and that does have championship implications as Mario Jr. is now into 5th place, and Alex Hansen takes home 2nd place. We've got one more lap here at Mount Panorama. But thank you for the follow, Flicky Ruby 48. Thank you for being our 2301 follower. R.L. Brown having a bit of a moment. That's going to allow another car by of Jeff Franks, but they're not on the same lap if I'm not mistaken. Oh, is the Sachs come back? Sorry. I didn't think the Sachs came back. No! They've been on the whole time? No, I didn't. Nobody told me. Oh, man. Why did nobody warn me? We blame you. Just came back when I came back for replay. Okay, thank you. All right, all right, all right. Oh no, no, calamity. Oh no. There was calamity involved. Oh no, as I was fixing the sexy sax. This race has proved to be what a last lap. Man, the leader has finished the race. Alejandro Polgarin takes P1. Hansen takes home P2. Tiago's in third. Montego, baby, why don't we go to Jacob Curtis in fourth. Mario Jr. in fifth. Colin Sugg is in sixth. Luke Nelson's in seventh. Dr. Porkchop eighth. Ninth for Aaron Silva. Jaeger Carr, Wade Georgeson, Stefano Rinaldi, Rally Duchy, R.L. Brown. Let's go back to the Jaeger Carr finish with Aaron Silva 3/10 away from each other. Wade Georgeson, Stefano Rinaldi, Rally Duchy, R.L. Brown. And it looks like there's some last lap action going on between Wilson Ortiz. That's not Wilson Ortiz, that's Artoni and Campbell. Oh, racing it out to the bitter end as they're racing for 20th and 21st position. A little bit of touching there between the two drivers. The 997 of Artoni is able to get through, and Artoni will take home P20. And R.L. Brown in 14th, Ortiz in 15th, Spady Bud, whoa! Well, we're just gonna forget that ever happened. Okay. Well then, that's not what you like to see. Let me go to fix that very quickly. And we've got that all fixed. Thank you very much, Mike Nause, for the PM. And let me download this for the promotion. And we're going to go back to the booth very briefly as we get everything set up for race 2. Adam Strange, what do you rate Frosty the Snowman out of 10? Frosty the Snowman? I rate him as like a 9. He's a snack. He's a snack. Whoa, the booth is broken. Oh, I'm floating. Woo! Woo! I don't think so. No. Nope. I will look at that afterwards. I do not have a layer missing. Cohen webcam are turned off. I could just be Spooky Saagar and floating off into the distance. Spooky Saagar, hello. We're going to return to garage. We're going to do this real quick. We're going to do something else. We're going to go to the calendar very quickly, and we're going to look at the Patreon for just a second as I add this image in. Thank you very much to all the Patreon subscribers. I appreciate you. Bam! Don't forget to join us for our Spooky Suzuki race and livery contest, folks, where we're going to be handing out prizes for the scariest liveries out there. And these are examples of some of the liveries that you could attempt to see out on track. And this is what you're going to have joining us on track on October 30th for Spooky Suzuki at Suzuka for a 45-minute sprint race. Don't forget about West Coast Championship. That'll be coming up in just a couple days' time, obviously. And then we have our GT3 Championship, our Sunday Championship, our Premier League of Racing. And that'll be going on at the Nordschleife on October 20th, this Sunday coming up for our 80 Minutes Endurance Championship. And then finishing it off at the Hungaroring on October 27th for another 80-minute race. If anybody needs to borrow a lovely Lexus livery, I have one that was featured in that promo. And I'll show the promo for the Spooky Suzuki one more time, everybody. And make sure you sign up for the TRACKILICIOUS Spooky Suzuki race and livery contest, folks. It will be a spooky one for sure. And if anybody needs a 606 livery for their Lexus, please let me know and enter it into the livery contest. Or contact Neil Kerbal, and I'm sure he'd be happy to help you out with a livery for the event. And back over for the studio. AV Scott says it's too spooky for me. Can't handle it. Too spicy. Too spicy. Can't handle it. Tomatoes? No thanks. Too spicy. What a race one that we had, huh, folks? That was pretty exciting. We had I can't remember who was in third place, but we had Polgarin leading Alex Hansen leading Tiago, if I'm not mistaken. Tiago Montego, baby, why don't we go to Jamaica, Bermuda, Bahamas? Come on, pretty mama. No? Hey, I requested a fun fact, said Squatchmonger. Well, I've got a fun fact for you about the Bathurst circuit if you don't have one lined up for me. Did you have a topic? Squatchmonger, did you have a topic? Or dealer's choice? Dealer's choice, he says. How long do you think the Conrad Strait is? Well, if you thought it was over a kilometer long, it sure is. It is over 1 kilometer long, and cars can reach their highest speeds, often exceeding 300 kilometers per hour or 186 miles per hour. Did you know that Britney Spears did not do it again? She never had a hit single after that. Did you know that Britney Spears was one of the first celebrities to embrace the power of social media? In 2009, she became the first person to reach 1 million followers on Twitch, and she was able to connect to her fans through her social media platform. Check my DMs. Mike has slid into my DMs. Thank you very much, Mike Nause. On Twitter. Did I say on Twitch? I don't think she was on Twitch. I meant to say on Twitter. I'm on Twitch with 1 million followers. Brittany is not. Brittany is not, unfortunately. She doesn't have quite the clout that TRACKILICIOUS does. And thank you very much to our 2,301th follower who is now banned from chat, by the way. I still think that was pretty funny. That it happened to go that way. So thank you very much to our 2,300th follower. Much appreciated. Oh boy, that was fun. That was fun. You guys make this entertaining, that's for sure. I would definitely not love to do this as much as I do without you guys. Hydrate's coming at me raw. Thank you very much, Squatchmonger. I'm dripping the green juice. A stan Twitter term used to describe an artist that a user does not like and considers a flop is Kia. Well, it's about that time, everybody. Back over to the race, folks. Let's go back to broadcasting. Broadcasting blank. Yes, we are good to go. And let's get ready to do a Sexy Sacks grid walk. When we've got 2 minutes left to go, everybody, this will give us time to answer any more further questions that may come up in chat. We've got about 14 seconds, so maybe not time to answer a question, but to get your questions in about some of the drivers. Pagarin leads Hansen and Tiago Nears and Jacob Curtis from FNM. There's your front 2 rows of the grid. Here we go, Sexy Sacks time, everybody. It's going to be Pulgarin in first place in that number 444. Yes, Dizzy, you're supposed to leave the server and join for race number 2. Yes. In second place, we've got Alex Hansen in the 390. Tiago Neres is in the number 27 for Limit Road Racing Team. And Jacob Curtis from FNM in fourth place in the number 68. Mario Jr. is in 5th place for the Limit Road team in the 193. Then we got Colin Sugg in the number 6 in the 6th place spot, in 34. Luke Nelson in the number 33 for the Deadfish Motorsport in 7th place. Dr. Porkchop, the number 71, is in 8th place right now. Aaron Silva is in the number 57 in 9th place. Jaeger Caro, aka Jaeger Prime, in the 920 is in 10th place. Wade Georgian for the 6-Star Racing Team in the 707 is in 11th place. Stefano Ronali for the TF Sport Team is in the number 3 in 12th place. Rally Dutchie for the Street Animals in the 621 number 13 spot. R.L. Brown is in the 14th spot for the Coach Dave Academy Team 996 AMG. Wilson Ortiz, Limit Road Racing in the 15th McLaren. Spady Bud, Spady Prime in the 16th spot in the 221. Chris Sunderson for Allison Racing is in the 18 and in 18th spot. Jeff Franks, the 73, is not in 73rd. He's in the 19th spot. Love Wins Racing. Pedro Artoni for Limit Road Racing is in the 20th spot in the 997. Michael Campbell Spare Parts is driving the Lonely KTM in the 799 and 21st. Brian Menser, rounding out the grid, is in the Porsche Motorsport and 22 spot in the number 46. And away we go. Long warm-up lap here at the Mount Panorama Circuit, everybody. Hopefully Stizzy can get into the server in time. Not sure who you are, Stizzy, but yes. Supposed to leave and rejoin. Hopefully we see another battle between Tiago and Alex Hansen go down. That would be awful exciting. If I'm not mistaken, Alex Hansen will have the outside line. Thiago will have the inside line, being able to follow Alejandro Pulgarin through. When I first saw Pulgarin's name, I thought his name was Plugger In, but that's definitely not how you pronounce it. It's Pulgarin. Got quite a race coming at us, folks. I hope you're just as excited as I am. Cars, motors are revving as we go up the mountain. Tires are generating heat. Brakes are generating heat for the drivers. Track is actually fast. Temperature is 21 degrees Celsius, and the ambient temperature is 21 degrees Celsius. Oh, and he's already here.
I am, in fact, already here. Hello, chat. Hello, everybody. I am late, or otherwise known as Mike. But either way, Saagar, what an exciting end to race one. I can hear myself. I need to mute myself. That is, there we are. Yeah, what an exciting end to race one. The rookie's putting on an absolute treat for us here tonight. And Alejandro Pulgarin, a driver that we haven't seen in a very long time, seeing him out there tonight and doing extremely well. That's something I absolutely love to see myself.
Yeah, after a 1.5-year hiatus, he said he's back in the mix and ready to join us out on track. And boy, is he putting down some stonker lap times here at the Mount Panorama circuit.
Yeah, he is you know, honestly, I don't want to say it surprises me, because Pulgarin, when he left, I don't want to say he was the quickest driver on the planet. That would be unfaithful. He definitely was one of the more mid-pack drivers, but the fact that he's had a bit of a 2-year hiatus or whatever, I just don't believe him. I mean, after seeing the performance that we've seen from him, this is honestly a different Pulgarin that we're seeing, and well, we're going to see if we continue that tonight here with the trend.
Absolutely. The one trend I'd like to see continue is the battle that ended a little prematurely between Alex Hansen and Thiago Neris, a name that I haven't seen before, but I've been told that he is with the Limit Road Racing team, and boy, has that driver been fierce out on track tonight.
Yeah, Limit Road team in general has been quite dominant. They're one of the more, I would say, Brazilian representative teams. Obviously, they're, I think, fully Brazilian. We've had a couple in the past, with Vacuum Racing being one of the Portuguese or Brazilian teams that we've seen. But all in all, nothing like the Limit Road drivers have recently, and absolutely love to see that diversity. But here we go, though, coming out down the start-finish straight as we get ready here to go green for race 2 of the rookies. 2x2 nose arc formation, and we are green, green, green now, heading down to Hell Corner, and Pulgarin off with a very commanding start side by side between Hansen and Thiago, and off into the kitty litter goes a BMW. Behind that, it's going to be Mario Jr. trying to make waves as they have a bit of a squabbling in the background, trying to regain onto the circuit. Luke Nelson pushing as well, currently running in 5th in that Aston Martin. Mario Jr., though, with a drive, looking to the outside line. Is he going to switch it back up to the end? He is, goes for it on the move to Thiago, but he does, in fact, have to back out and almost gets attacked on there by Luke Nelson. And as they begin here the ascent up the hill, Saagar, the opportunities are going to get less and less.
Yeah, the drivers are getting squirmy here on lap 1, even with their cold tires. They're going for moves left, right, and center. And there goes a move from Luke Nelson around the outside of Mario Jr. and coming into Reed Park. This is going to be really tight. Mario Jr. is able to go back through, and Aaron Silva now trying to capitalize on the opportunity. The 57 looking at the 33 like a handsome little snack that he is, but can't capitalize on it just yet. The drivers are still going side by side, a little bit of glitching going in the background right now, but the drivers are all doing pretty well for themselves. Oh, and there goes Alex Hansen going off the track, chasing down Pulgarin. And there goes a, whoa, no! And there's a race that ended prematurely. That's Mario Jr. getting a little bit collected there with his compatriot, Thiago Neris, and that'll be the end of that. Mike, are you there?
Yes, I am here. In fact, that was a bit of a, I'm not sure what just happened. Hopefully Discord is holding itself up. Very eventful lap one so far. And in the background, we can see there the yellow flag currently waving for one of the drivers on the bottom of the mountain. That's Colin Sugg, Wade Georgeson. I think both of those drivers getting involved early on here. Rally Dutchy as well, making some good moves early. But the biggest gainer on the end of lap one, 8 positions for Pedro Antoni.
Yeah, 8 positions gained right now overall. Thiago Neves down 7 positions. Rally Dutchy's up 6 overall. Jaeger Caro's up 5. Luke Nelson's up 4 positions, but the championship battle right now is going to be between Polgarin and Alex Hansen, as Mario Jr. has been knocked down by quite a bit of ways away. Plus he's got damage, so Jaeger Caro might be able to capitalize and gain some points for himself in this championship.
Yeah, that's what Jaeger's going to be looking at here. And as we tune down to Dr. Porkchop, you can see the bit of a pack forming behind him at the moment as Stefano Rinaldi, Aaron Silva, and Thiago Neres all getting involved with that one. Jaeger Caru on the front end there, or no, that's not Jaeger. That is actually Mario Jr. that has a bit of damage on the front end. And Jaeger, he is putting the pressure on hastily now, making a look to the outside of the cutting. Is he going to go for a move? No. And as we go back up the mountain, we know there are no, he is actually going to go for a move. Mario Jr. a little bit deep, but even with that mistake, it's still too difficult to make an overtake happen.
Yeah, a lot of good looks here out of Jaeger Caro. He's done a lot of practice, he's said, and the practice is paying off. His lap times are pretty consistent right now, and Mario's car is smiling at all the drivers as we look at his front bonnet there, and is flapping around in the wings, winking at us too a little bit. Alex Hansen about 1 second away from Polgarin right now, and this has only been 1 lap overall right now.
Yeah, and beyond that here, we see that it was quite a hard time going on back here with Aaron Silva getting the pressure put on by Neres in that Camaro as well. He is trying to make moves onto Rinaldi, but there really hasn't been any movement in this mid-pack. Everybody is on, well, rails, to put it lightly, right now, but obviously we know the mountain giveth and we know the mountain taketh away.
Yeah, and only one little mistake is going to be the difference between making or breaking it here, as we see Spady Bud, who's broken his car quite a bit there. He's 2 positions up, started in 16th, now into 14th as he chases down Jeff Franks. That Camaro will not be tracking in a straight line very well, or will not be doing very well, and there's a big look out of Artoni and RL Brown, excuse me, no, that was Neres getting around RL Brown there for just a second. And that was a scary looking move there. And there goes Spady Bud, spun around at the end of the Conrad straight as we went through the chase.
You hate to see it, to be honest, but as I just said, the mountain giveth and it taketh away, and there's a perfect example. I think Jeff Franks got caught up in that as well. With Jaeger Caru getting off to the side there, his AMG. I'm not sure if that was an unforced error or what, but either way, the results are the same. A massive amount of time loss. And, well, it looks like for the most part, Saagar here, the rookies are settling into a bit of a groove, at least in that mid-pack. I'm not seeing too much aggression really forming on Dr. Porkchop, Stefano Rinaldi, or Aaron Silva. I'd love to take a look at that battle, though, right now, with there we are, with Dr. Porkchop leading, well, not leading, Rally Dutchy leading it, but Dr. Porkchop trying to change that sentiment.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's a lot of action that happened earlier on in the race. And I think now everybody's just finding their groove, finding their lines, and realizing that they're stuck in this mid-pack, that they've got to be collecting themselves. And there goes Thiago Neres into the wall. And Artoni's going to try to go side by side here at Reed Park, it looks like. And no, he backs out of that one out of his teammates' sake. But that Camaro is not faring very well right now. After getting shook up on lap 2, it never is quite the same again. And there goes Artoni into the wall, making a little bit of love with the barriers there, giving it a little kiss, as so aptly put by Amadeo Castorino.
Yeah, these drivers really need to dial it back a couple percentage. When you're on the mount, oh, okay, on cue, and there's bumping, banging, and calamity, and oh my goodness, we have a parking lot going on the downhill.
Oh man, that is, like you just were saying, the drivers need to dial it back by just about 2%. And that's the big difference here at Mountain Panorama, is that you might be capable of producing a, let's say in GT3s, a 201 or a 2-minute flat lap. Dialing it back 10% is around 2 seconds. Go ahead and do 202s. Go ahead and pull those off, because if you're doing those 202s consistently, you're better off than causing yourself a 30 or 45 seconds worth of damage being parked at the mountain section. It just doesn't make any sense to push beyond your skill limit at a track like this, where it's so unforgiving with track limits violations and errors that just result in so much damage that will hurt your race in a negative way. And here goes a battle between Campbell and RL Brown. Campbell in the lonely KTM 799 trying to go around the outside of Murray's corner and looking for an opportunity to do a switchback now on the optimum line, on the outside line of the track, coming down the front straight now. He might be clear of RL Brown. He is clear of RL Brown, and going through Hell's Corner, he's going to hold on to that lead for just a little bit longer.
Yeah, Brown in a less than showroom ready AMG there, and Campbell really making easy work of the situation, just kind of got by when it got good. And we're going to see a similar situation from Frank's behind, as we see potentially here, or excuse me, from Karu, as he goes for the move onto the inside, and I think Brown is just going to comply, to be honest, back out of it. He realizes the situation isn't great, and honestly, he might want to take a pit stop, and almost should have on the previous lap. There's quite a bit of damage, but he feels that it's not going to affect him towards the end. We'll see. This is a very, very momentum-based race, and when the momentum swings into the barrier, I don't want to say history repeats itself, but it certainly can.
Yeah, 12 minutes left on the clock. He's going to have to do this for about 6 more laps, it seems. So he's got quite a bit of work ahead of himself to be able to control that AMG, or tame that Mustang, as it were. And here looks Aaron Silva chasing down Rally Dutchy. Times are actually going Aaron Silva's way right now, with 2:16.9s compared to the 2:17.5s of Rally Dutchy. So in just a lap or two, we'll see this battle really brew up into something spicy.
Definitely should here, and it might be sooner rather than later. We see that McLaren, though, of Silva a bit worse for wear, to be honest. Up at the front, though, I am curious. Alejandro Pulgarin, he is 3.5 seconds over Alex Hansen and Luke Nelson, a very similar gap to that. Pretty much the car to, similar gaps all the way throughout the top 4. Not going to be ideal for the entertainment value, but we can have enough of that as we take a look down to Jaeger Karu making moves on the KTM. Campbell is sitting duck on the straight just due to the straight line speed of the AMG versus the KTM. I know there's a couple people in chat that have particular feelings about the AMG GT4 and how powerful it is.
Yeah, and that KTM has got to have some, let's say, alternate fans in the chat, people that like to be punished in their own way, as that thing can't be that quite fun to drive in a straight line, but it is fun to drive up through this mountain section with a high amount of aero that car does have going for it. So at least Campbell has that going for him, and should be a lot of fun up here through the mountain section, that's for sure.
Absolutely should, and then we can get a good look at the Jaeger Prime livery as well, going down the straight. And going for a potential, well, not move yet. 1.5 seconds to Spady Bud. But the lap times are, in fact, in favor. And actually, here we are with a bit of an aggressive shove there. That was Spady Bud going on the defense, and he wasn't trying to give up that position. But Jaeger, I think those two are in a call together, so there might be a little bit of shouting and potential explicitives that are going to be said.
And those are teammates, too, driving in those similar liveries, the Jaeger Prime and the Spady Prime liveries, going after it, battling it out. And it looked like Jaeger Prime had to go a little bit over there onto the grass to make that overtaking maneuver happen. But if you're not racing, you're not trying. And I think Jaeger Prime, Jaeger Caro sure was trying in that one instance.
Yeah. I think that's certainly could be said. Yeah, trying is a bit of an understatement on that one. And you can even see in the car body language how hard he's trying on the top of the mountain. And again, we talk about just dialing a couple percentage points back just so you can survive. And I feel like Spady Bud might be falling victim to more himself than anybody else. We're taking a look, though, a little bit further down here. We have Chris Saunderson in the Ellison Racing Machine getting sent on at the top of the mountain. No, the Camaro backs out, but Nedez getting very feisty here. And I'd imagine as we get down to the Forest Elbow and launch ourselves onto the Conrad Straight, the Camaro should have this move done and dusted. We'll certainly see, though, as it's just going to be down to closing the gap up here, following that tight line close to the wall. Oh, the Camaro did not do that, though. Got on the power a little too early, sends themselves straight into the wall, and the Audi lives to fight another day.
Yeah, the Audi's able to just drive away after that Camaro had contact with the wall. but no harm, no foul there, as Amadeo said. Giving that wall a little kiss is okay, but it will hurt your chances for getting a run on someone down the Conrad straight into the chase. But under the braking, look at that Camaro's massive power, and Thiago is working that thing like a horse right now, really drifting it through the chase and on their way through the last straight before the crossing the finish line.
Credit where credit's due. What a save. It was a bit of a late braking attempt there, and Chris Saunderson wasn't doing himself. Holy smokes, that Camaro is wiggling like a leaf on a tree right there. He's wrestling an octopus, but I don't want to say the Audi was doing himself any favor, as he kind of just put himself up into top gear down the straight, and that was not helping him. I think fifth gear or sixth gear, I think it's fifth gear for the Audi. It seems to be the ideal one down the Conrad due to just the torque alone there. He was definitely, again, did not help himself out in trying to defend.
Pulgarin just pulls off a best lap, last lap, a 2:13.770. That man is absolutely flying, and so is Brian Menser as he flies through the chase and onto the grass and through the gravel a little bit. That number 46 Porsche not doing very well, but here's a Porsche that is doing well, the 390 of Alex Hansen. He's about 4.5, 5 seconds back from the leader Pulgarin right now, and he's got a 2.6 second gap, 3-second gap back towards Luke Nelson, who's trying to close it down as much as possible. Spady Budd and Michael Campbell seemingly involved in an incident with each other out on track, both of them going off, looks like at the chase, and it looks like Mario Jr. is able to just pull by, and that would be our Tony, who's not on the same lap, or Wilson Ortiz, excuse me, who's not on the same lap right now.
Yeah, interesting play. I'm not fully sure what we're seeing there, but either way, Mario Jr. here trying to contest onwards with that damaged AMG, and he is making pretty good work of it. Nobody else really coming close to him in terms of lap times around him. He's faster than Dr. Porkchop, a little bit slower than Luke Nelson, and Alex Hansen just off the pace of Alejandro Pulgarin. Stefano Rinaldi here is going to get an overtake for free, as there is going to be a stranded Rally Dutchy. In fact, we just drove by and missed it, but the 621 Street Animals did find themselves having a brief picnic there before the final corner, and Stefano Rinaldi says thank you very much.
And Rally Dutchy's into the pit lane after serving all of that damage and having that little picnic that you talked about, and he's into the pit lane, and that might be the end of his race, or hopefully he's able to come back out on track, because we do have at least 5 drivers that are off the lead lap right now. So he's going to have someone to battle with no matter what, and that's just the nature of Mount Panorama. Once you take a pit stop, you're going to be about a minute down. At least one lap is going to be sacrificed out of the greater scheme of things.
Yeah, and one of the drivers here I do want to take a moment to mention is that KTM that we were looking at earlier, Matt Campbell. He's up 12 positions right now from 22nd where he started, and again, that's just down to consistency. He gave up some positions for free, but at the end of the day, he got him back due to the mistakes from others, and that's really just, again, the testament of the tortoise and the hare. You'd go slowly, and eventually, well, slow is fast, especially on the mountain here. Rally Dutchy is, in fact, out joining us in chat. Also, shout out Papa Milwy, Doc Milwy in chat there, saying hello to late Mike. I appreciate that. Thank you, Doc Milwy. And welcome everybody as well that is joining us.
Oh, Fanalab broke and load cell is stuck at 100%. That'll be painful. Sorry to hear that, Rally Dutchy. We wish we could have seen you get back on track and race some of these other drivers that are not on the lead lap, because you've got guys like Jonathan Stale, Colin Sugg, and Wade Georgeson all battling it out for their laps on lap 4.
And there we just saw Wade Georgeson, speak of the devil, getting by a damaged AMG. Wade Georgeson a long ways to go, though, till he finds the back of Colin Sugg. Brian Menser, though, into pit lane. I'm not sure what has happened there. We also have a yellow flag from Dr. Porkchop, as he's found a bit of an issue right now, and as we go on board with, there we go, Dr. Porkchop, okay.
He looks to be doing okay. Let's check out what happened to Menser, if he's got any damage. That was the 46, who has incurred quite a bit of damage, so he's serving his basically penalty for touching the mountain there. And he's coming out on pit lane, and right now, so he'll come out somewhat close to Rally Dutchy, or excuse me, Rally Dutchy's into the pits and stopped there out on track. So Colin Sugg and Wade Georgeson, who are coming through the chase right now.
Yeah, and we rejoin with Colin here. Not really close to anyone. We have the closest battle on track being right here, the Thiago battle along with Saunderson, but I think Saunderson has the pace right now. Thiago's just been a bit over exuberant again. You know, we're about to see, I think, a perfect example of what I'm saying. He sees an opportunity and he goes for it and he just fully commits to it, which I got to be honest, he's got the heart, but we got to reconsider on the brains there a little bit. No offense.
Yeah, and hopefully having the consistency will prove to him to be the best skill that you can possibly have. And here goes Campbell chasing down Spady Bud again one more time. But the consistency on the mountain is going to be the key to victory. It's never going to be your raw pace overall. You may even be able to pull out a 210 every now and then if you're an alien here on the mountain. But if you're not able to produce that consistency, it's not really even a subject matter to talk about then at that point in time, because you're going to have an incident with the wall, you're going to go down a lap or two, and then that's going to be the end of your race. And it's just sad to see, honestly.
And to be clear, nobody in the rookies is doing a 210. I don't even think in quali pace they're going to be hitting 210s. In race pace, they're certainly not going to be close to that margin. We might see that a little bit later in the Open. 210 is quite the lap, though.
That would be faster than Amadeo Castorino in one of the laps.
Yeah, I was going to say.
I think he was able to produce a 211 flat, and that was as good as we were able to get. And it looks like Aaron Silva incurring a little bit of damage as he came out of the Forest Elbow and down the Conrad Straight. He's a little wounded winged right now, and Jaeger Caro out of Jaeger Prime making up positions left, right, and center. And that number 7 spot is chasing down Aaron Silva on the brakes, doing a good job of closing the gap. That AMG really does have the legs down the Conrad Straight to be able to top out and really get past a lot of these cars that don't quite have it made out for them.
Yeah, and Limit Road here, slightly limited by the damage on the front end. Jaeger Karu with a fully prime machine, ready to make the moves, and with the fastest lap to boot. As we go now down to the first corner, I think Jaeger here is going to be signed, sealed, and delivered. We don't really see too much of a fight from Silva. He's going to try to switch it back, though, and he's going to have a little bit of success on the run. But this is where the AMG shows its strength. But the McLaren, with a very solid exit, side by side, all the way down here till Quarry Bend. The AMG, though, there it is. As it fully kicks in the top gear, it takes away, stretches its legs, and says, thank you very much. I am going to be looking up the road till Dr. Porkchop.
Yeah, still a good move, and Dr. Porkchop actually into the pits himself, so Jaeger Caro has pulled off 2 positions in 1 lap, not permitting the pit stop, obviously, but Jaeger Caro is now into 5th place overall. Spady Bud having a little bit of an accident there, I think, with Campbell. And there goes side by side through the Quarry Bend, and they're pulling off nice and neat things. Spady Bud on the inside line, able to grip up his tires there on the curbing and really sucking you into the track and hopefully not drifting up too far here at the cutting. And he's able to negotiate that very well, but so is the KTM. It's getting a little swirly there on the back end, lighting up the rear end of the tires. But it's able to negotiate it pretty neatly, and the gap is now brewed up to be around 1 second and 1.5 seconds from him to Campbell. And now Spady Bud's closing down on Rinaldi and is actually able to get through on Rinaldi, as Rinaldi made a mistake there. The number 3 losing out 1 position. Will he lose out 2 positions here to the KTM? He sure does. Rinaldi kind of limping it around right now. Not sure what's going on with him. Let's see if we can get a recap of what happened to the number 3. No incident to report, unfortunately.
Yeah, that was early. Oh, and the leader has finished the race. Alejandro Pulgarin takes the victory here tonight with Alex Hansen coming up behind by about, well, quite a decent margin. Now, 6.5 seconds, actually, not too bad. Luke Nelson 1 second off of the pace there, with Mario Jr. coming home in 4th. Jaeger Karu with the fastest lap and a 5th position. Aaron Silva for Brazil taking home 6th position. And behind him, Spady Bud in 7th. Michael Campbell taking home 8th with the most amount of overtakes tonight, 14 to his name, started back in 22nd. Stefano Rinaldi in 9th, and rounding out your top 10 will, in fact, be R.L. Brown.
And R.L. Brown not racing for position overall right now, might let this one go. And R.L. Brown did successfully limp that AMG all the way around the track a couple of times to secure himself a top 10 finish there in that 996. Not too shabby.
Not too shabby whatsoever. Secures himself top 10. Michael Campbell almost secured himself a 7th position there, to be honest, at the end. Spady Bud almost got overtaken. It was close, but Michael Campbell does not quite manage that, and still a amazing effort from the 799 machine. Great job all the way around. Most positions gained here tonight.
Yeah, 0.3 of a gap at the finishing line there between the 7 and the 8th position. That's the 221 and the 799 of Michael Campbell. So good job there. Doug Nearest comes home in 15th. Jeff Franks Colin Sugg, Wade Georgeson, Jonathan Stahl, and Brian Menser rounding out the 20th position.
As we now have a bit of a calm before the storm, we're going to have a brief intermission, of course, before we do, in fact, head on over to the GT4 Open. That's right, folks. There is, in fact, another race here tonight, and it's going to be in the same category on the same circuit. But we're going to be seeing slightly more skill. This is the rookie series, of course, and we're going to be seeing the Open series, and it's open to absolutely everybody, professionals and amateurs alike.
And we're just going to throw Mike into here with me.
Oh, lovely. Am I here?
We are. Got to put a filter on you. Mike is huge.
I cannot see your screen anymore either, so if you could maybe share the screen.
I will get you here in just 1 second.
There I am.
In full color picture, high definition. Let's see, share screen.
We do it live, folks, in case you were curious. We do it live.
And we'll go back over to the studio, and Mike has disappeared. Mike's face is enormous.
We do it live, folks. We do it live.
Oh, goodness gracious. Great balls of fire. Why is Mike so large?
It's not a question I get asked too often. I'll just be completely frank. There we go. Much better.
Normal-sized Mike Nause. Welcome to the booth, Mike.
Thank you, Saagar. Happy to be alongside in the spooky desk. Wait, which way do I have to look?
I was gonna say,
not that way.
The spooky desk where their legs dangling down into panorama.
Yeah. And as I'm looking at the scenes here, I'm trying to figure out what's wrong. But either way, can you scroll down on the sources? But
yeah.
As we're just just glancing, and no, that's definitely not it. I have no idea what has happened. You have a thing missing, clearly. But either way,
clearly I do have something missing, and everybody's at least enjoying the the big Mike Nause. And we got redeemed to hydrate, so thank you very much for Patrick DeBow. Appreciate it. Rally Dutchy says good luck to everyone else out there. It was good racing while it lasted. Amazing. Thank you so much.
Amazing race. Polgarin, welcome back, Polgarin. You didn't have much of a fight, to be honest. In fact, we need to do interviews, don't we?
I was just about to say, I'm going to look to see if there's anybody that we need to grab. Alex Hansen's waiting in the green room for us. Should we pull in Alex Hansen for his number 2 finish?
Might as well.
Alex Hansen, welcome to the booth. How are you doing? How do you feel about your races tonight?
Hello. Oh, it was fun. It was so fun.
A bit hectic there for a little while for you in race 1. Able to do pretty amazing things in race 2. Pretty quiet race for you. Would you say so?
Not really. I had 2 huge crashes while I was following the Mercedes in race 2, right after you joined me in the live. I just went straight into the wall. And race 2, I lost it after the braking chicane, also straight into the wall. 50-second damage, but I don't know how I managed it.
Oh, man. Well, you managed it pretty well to the very bitter end. You did a great job of negotiating the Mount Panorama circuit. Were those your only couple of incidents that you ended up having?
I had some fights with Diego Neres, I believe.
Yes, in race 1, I believe.
In race 1, yeah. It was kind of aggressive.
To say the least. Way to be a gentleman about it. It looked a bit more rough and tumble than it could have possibly been inside the cockpit. You guys were hip checking each other left, right, and center.
Yeah, unfortunately, but kind of aggressive. That's what I can say.
Well, you drive like you're being driven against, and you did a good job of keeping your cool there. That's for sure.
Yeah, I was trying my best. It was hard race, fun race. GG's.
Yeah, GG's indeed. Way to be a gentleman and way to be a sportsman about it as well. Not letting it get to you, but just keep on driving forward, right?
Oh, I was angry. My friend in Discord was like, chill, dude. You got this.
Well, I'm glad you're able to keep it together for as long as you did, brother. Good job.
Thank you.
Is there anything in your race that you want to add or anybody that you want to thank before we let you go?
Nothing about the race. Just again, want to thank you, my friend Soma. He was with me the whole race and will be still with me on the race 3 in this wet Bathurst. Oh, wish me luck.
Good luck.
And I just want to thank you to my parents. I think they start loving it, watching me race here.
Awesome. Glad that they're in the crowd cheering you on, brother. Glad to hear it. Have
All
a
right.
wonderful
Thank
night
you.
and be safe and good luck.
Thank you. Good luck to you guys.
Thank you.
Let's grab
Up next,
Pulgarine. and we'll let you take it
Alejandro.
away.
I'll take care of this one. Don't you worry. We have Mr. Alejandro Pulgarin. Pull Games, a name that I have not said in about a year and a half. Alejandro, first off, how are you doing?
Hey, my friend, amazing. I mean,
Oh, did we lose? I think we may have.
can you hear me?
There we are. There you are. We got you.
Yeah, I just finished my MBA. I was.
Oh no. Alejandro, he's finished his ND or MBA. MBA?
Yeah, MBA.
The bachelor's? Okay, awesome. Heck yeah. And sorry, Alejandro, we're having some connection issues here, it seems, with the lag. But like I say, I want to get an interview out of you. Let's talk a little bit about the race here. Well, there wasn't much to talk about, was there? You just kind of dominated.
No,
What
I
happened?
mean, no. I just practiced a lot. I mean, I wanted to get back strong, and yeah. To be honest, it was really, especially the first lap, the top of the mountain. I mean, it was really tough because the tires were really cold, and the walls were coming up. By the second, the guy behind me, I believe, was really. It was Hansen, I believe. It was wow. It was right. As a matter of fact, I think in race 2, he did manage to take evasive action because I had to have some problems going down the mountain. But hey, it was great. I mean, wow. And it's my first double. I mean, you know my career, right? With TRACKILICIOUS.
Yeah. I mentioned it I mentioned it early on. I said you weren't necessarily the fastest driver when you left. I wasn't, trying to be rude about it. It's just the fact. But you've shown up and you are the fastest driver now out on track. So, I can't really argue with the results. The practice paid off clearly.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. My wife is behind next to me, and she said, "What you won? Oh my God!" She's so happy because, yeah, I miss this a lot, and I hope to stick for a while, hopefully.
Heck yeah. That's what I want to hear, Alejandro. I'm so happy to have you around. Just first off, it's so nice to have you back in the community again. A longtime veteran, a name that most people don't even know, and I'm sitting here nerding out like, oh my goodness. But no, Alejandro, we're going to have to hurry this up because we do have a show where we have to get to the GT4 Open. But is there anyone you'd like to thank? Obviously, you have your wife sitting next to you there, so I'm sure you'd like to thank that as well as anyone else.
Yeah, no, I thank you guys for keeping the community up. I mean, I was really eager to come back, and yeah, hopefully to do some racing.
Awesome. Alejandro, thank you so much, and I hope to see you back next week. Hope to see you in some more championships as well, as clearly you have the pace. But anyways, have a great rest of your evening and go and celebrate.
You too. Yeah, take care, guys. Bye-bye.
Alejandro Pulgarin, everybody. Again, it's a name that no one knows, but that's okay. I do. That's all it matters to me, and I'm happy. So, Alejandro won. We take those.
We take those wins, absolutely. Not one race, but 2 races back to back. An amazing drive out of Alejandro for his amazing resurgence that he's been able to endure. Great driving out of him tonight.
Absolutely. Also, we had some questions in chat asking about why don't we have Stream Racer tonight? That is again because I was a little bit late. My apologies. I can't say exactly what I was doing, but I can say kind of what I was doing. Voiceover. If you guys need voiceovers, let me know. I do voiceovers, so Yeah, I had to do that. But other than that, I can't really say anything. But on that, we have, of course, the next race, the GT4. Do we want to take a quick little look of at our calendar coming up here?
We sure can. Go ahead and take it away, Mike Nause. Got it. Oh, no. Everybody can hear you,
Okay.
Mike Nause. I have no idea what you're talking about.
Ah, yes, now people can hear me. So I just went on a big rant in case anyone was curious. No one heard me on my rant, but we're going to go on the rant slightly a little bit less. We got Spooky Suzuki, the livery contest coming up on October 30th. That's not just going to be for spooky liveries. It's going to have fun liveries. It's going to have all sorts of different categories if we have enough people that submit. So get their submissions in because we want to see what you can do. It's not about your skills on the track. It's your skills in the paint shop and in the livery makers. That's what we're out there to see on October 30th, as well as a little bit of a race on Suzuka. Who doesn't want to be there for that? We just watched the GT4 rookies, and up next is the GT4 Open. We're going to be at Zandvoort next week on the 21st. I still recommend anyone getting involved with either of these championships, despite the fact that the championship points may not be in it. This is all about learning, experience, and getting pushing your comfort zone, to be completely honest. Our iRacing series have come to a conclusion. We have West Coast Wednesday that will be wrapping up relatively soon, but we have Paul Ricard coming up along with Zandvoort in the following week. On top of that, our GT3 main event with the Nordschleife up next. And we know that some drivers are not the most excited about that. I certainly am, though, in the Hungaroring to finish the championship off. Another big thank you as well to all of our Patreon members that are names on screen currently. There we are. Beautiful V12 exotics along with the V8 muscles, and of course the inline fours along with the regular donors. And I have an update on one more V12 exotic name that I need to add to the list as I just pull that one up real quick. It is Anthony Kelly. Thank you very much for becoming a exotic member as well on the Patreon. Absolute legend. So Anthony Kelly is going to be a name that will be added to that as well. But on that, Saagar, I think these cars are rounding the circuit in terms of qualifying. I think we've rambled on enough. Why don't we get down to the meat and potatoes tonight?
Sounds great. Let's do it, Mike. Ali Raza right now is in P1 during these wet and tricky conditions, as well as the pros are concerned because the pros are going to go out first. They're going to be the white number plates, and then we have the AMs or the pro AMs going out in the red number plates following that. So we have Ali Raza leads Beachley in the cat car, and then we have Joshua Worley, aka Squirrely Worley, especially in these conditions. George Elmer sticking to everybody like glue in the fourth position. Professor Canotas, Luis Vasquez, Randy Gross, Brian Clementi, and then Spady Budd rounding it out for the top 9.
As it stands for right now, obviously still 2 more minutes to go. And looking at those weather conditions, they are lightening up, so it is a chance for improvement. In fact, looking at the times, I think pretty much everybody is improving right now, so I wouldn't say that any one of these times are final. Ali Raza, though, 3.5 tenths ahead. That is going to be hard for Justin Beachley to make up on his own. Plus, Ali Raza has another lap to set out there. So Justin here, he's going to be running for his money, as it seems, and Ali Raza trying to run away with the results.
Yeah, in the standings right now, Ali Raza leads by is in the lead with 248 points. Next up is Beachley with 182, then George Elmer with 173, 163 for Shane Domlin, Brian Clementi, Professor Canotis, John Hawley, Alex Freeman, and Luis Vasquez. Jason Provolone, the big stinky cheese man, rounds out your top 10 for the championship so far. So it's kind of Ali Raza's championship to lose right now, but right now he seems pretty clear-cut the winner of this championship so far, with nothing but 4 wins to his name and a 7th round drop round.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, yes, I misheard you, to be completely honest. Yeah, 248 to 182. It's a bit of a one-horse race up at the top, to be completely honest. And George Elmer, he's going to be battling for P2 with Justin Beachley. Shane, you mentioned, also in contention, 10 points off of Elmer as it stands. Clementi in the fight, tied with Shane, so it really is anyone's game right now. But the biggest thing that I'm noticing is the drop rounds that have been used. We have a P16 drop round for Brian, a DNS for Shane, George Elmer with a DNS, or with a drop round of 16, and 11th for Justin. Ali Raza's drop round is 7th, obviously he has used that, so I don't want to call, no, it is mathematical. I don't know if it's mathematically done, but it's mathematically done. I'm not even going to try to hype it up.
Unfortunately, I believe the scoring settles down to 60 points for the race winner each race. So I believe Ali Raza would have to miss the next 2 races in a row and also basically crash and burn at this one for him to not win the championship.
Yeah, that's fair. Unfortunate, but either way, Justin Beachley still in the fight for the rest of for the best of the rest.
Yeah, absolutely. And doing a great job of keeping it clean as well. That cat car is only 1 second off the pace of Ali Raza, which is nothing to shake a stick at, as you would say. And a 220 in these conditions is pretty amazing.
Yeah, very impressive considering the fact that the rookies in race pace were doing 215s in the dry, and on an optimum track, this is quite another level. We do have the rookies out there as well. You can see those red plate drivers. They are all rookies. We'll see what sort of lap times they can manage here. I predict somewhere, obviously, in the 225-ishes, around that mark, I would say, is going to be the average for the red plates.
Yeah, and nothing to really go by off of except for the practice timing. And a lot of drivers probably, if they were in the rookies round, practicing for dry conditions, but now they're facing wet conditions. This is going to be pretty difficult for the drivers to navigate. And AV Scott says, geez, what is this? All but one race for the Open that's been wet conditions in either race or quali.
You know, now that I'm not gonna lie, and I did read a couple chat messages about this in the previous stream, and I didn't mention it, but we have had an awful lot of rain races at TRACKILICIOUS recently in both the GT3 and the GT4 Open. I don't know if there's a server setting thing or if it is just that random. But I'm not really, that's not my department, to be completely honest. I'm just the guy that talks about the stuff. But I can see the conspiracies that people are drawing, to be completely honest.
The mathematical probability of it being rain at TRACKILICIOUS is probably higher than you'd expect, that's for sure. Squashmonger ate the wall on his fastest quali lap. Disappointment. Ooh, man. But you're still doing well there, Worley, settling down in 5th place with a 223.120. You're only 2.8 off of an alien Ali Raza's pace, as Casey Swanseger in the Noobs R Us car has to slow down a little bit and invalidates their lap.
Yeah, they're just setting up for the next lap. They're on an out lap currently, slowing down to get themselves a bit of a gap in case a car spins out in front, like we see in front of us currently on cue. Michael Campbell there having a trip to the grass, and so was a Camaro there briefly. I didn't quite catch who that was. But expect that as these drivers, I think a banker lap is going to be more than good enough.
I think that might have been Wade Georgeson, none other than Wade Georgian for the 6-Star Racing, with the big Roo on the side of his car. Switching from one car to another car, that's got to be awfully challenging for him in one race, and then immediately switching over to the Camaro for his second race. I believe he was driving an AMG in the rookies and now driving a Camaro for the GT4 Open Series.
Oi, mate, he's going for that V8 supercar lifestyle out here at Bathurst, you know, down under. The V8s, they got the big old engine in them. In it? No, that's British.
Oh, God.
There we go. That was my Wade Georgeson impression, in case anyone was curious.
Your
Or my
Wade
Daniel
Georgian
Ricciardo.
impressions. Oh my goodness. Wade, get in here and scold Mike Nause for that terrible Australian accent. Please.
I think he would appreciate it. It's V8 Super Kaz, mate.
Oh, Wade.
You can't say R. They don't. Oh, he hit the wall right there.
The wall. Do you say the wall?
You know, there's certain letters that Australians just don't have the ability to pronounce when it comes to actual English. Like, yes, they speak English, but like, it's not, you know what I mean. You know, I just made a lot of the Australian audience either very upset, or they're loving me right now. And I'm not sure. Australians are typically pretty cool and they can typically take a joke. So I'm going to go with the second one.
Don't throw me into that mix, Mike Nause. you can have all the Australian fans that you possibly want right now.
I think that Australians have thicker skins than most, so. And that might just be because the sun is constantly beating down on them. I don't know, or the, gimpy plants in the area. There's lots of reasons that their skin will be thicker. I mean, look at the animals that bite. But anyways, moving on swiftly from that, in case anyone was curious, it's fun fact time, to be completely honest, as I don't have my fun facts up. That's brilliant. Okay, we get those up in a moment.
Mike, a question was asked in chat about what you think about turtles. How about the gold rush history? Bathurst region was one of the first areas in Australia to experience a gold rush in the early 1850s, attracting thousands of prospectors. How's that for a fun fact?
Yeah, but that's not what I was going for. There's more. We got some more exciting and relevant fun facts right now, and the relevant ones that I'm talking about when it comes to animals are the animals in the area that you can expect to see on an average Bathurst Sunday or Monday, depending on what day you're racing, obviously. They're here every day. We're in the middle of absolutely nowhere, to be completely honest, in New South Wales. You can expect to see some kangaroos, some wallabies, which are kangaroos, but not. We have different various bird species, including magpies, cockatoos, as well as various others, including, snakes. They've been seen there as well. There's occasional reports of snakes, though they're less common than other animals. There's gonas, which are like big lizard-looking things, and some possums if you're doing a night race.
And some possums if you're doing a night race. What about the roos?
I mentioned that was the first one. And then you have the wallabies, which are kangaroos, but
That's
not.
right. The mini roos.
And how do I feel about turtles? I think I'm very pro-turtle. Teenage Mutant or not.
Oh, I forgot about the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Those guys were banging.
Anyways, back to the qualifying. Ali Raza still at the top of the time charts, but Casey Swanseeger, a bit of the reason that I don't necessarily like red plates, to be completely honest, is, this is just his track, just his conditions. Can't take that out of contention, to be fair. Whoa, my goodness, Wade Georgeson slipping and sliding around. And he does manage to keep it mostly on circuit, but a little bit of damage picked up there for the 707, and he needs to get a lap valid. He's currently on an invalid lap.
707 is on an invalid lap, but Dr. Porkchop's out there improving his lap time at 2:24. He's got about half a second to his name right now, but kind of losing it here as he approaches Reed Park, turn 6, and coming up through the mountain. He seems to be doing okay, negotiating that pretty well, but time giveth and time taketh away here at the mountain section, and trying to carry as much speed as he can through Solomon Park and on the way to the Skyline turn.
And he is going to be now looking at that downhill. He's going to be trying to get as close as he can to the walls here, does Porkchop. It's nice and conservative, to be honest, when it comes to the entry. This is just about trying to find any form of improvements. And as it stands right now, he has managed to find quite a bit. And this is where all of the time is made or lost. Down into the final corner of the bottom of the mountain here, through Forest Elbow to launch yourself onto the Conrad Straight. A little bit offline there was Dr. Porkchop, but still able to carry a good amount of speed. The Aston Martin is quite fast in a straight line. Needs to get himself tucked off over to the left-hand side here sooner rather than later to avoid that standing water that's offline. You can see, there we go. He starts to move over, get that car off onto the right-hand curbs, chuck it into the right-hander, get ready to get hard on the brakes nice and early, and try to get it turned in for the chase. Clobbers the inside curb there with enough midair time to be served wine on that flight. And now down towards Murray's Corner and into the start-finish line. Dr. Porkchop's looking at a very solid lap here.
Yeah, absolutely. He's producing about a second over his personal best. A 124 turns into a 123.6 very briefly, and that puts him all the way up into 10th place and knocks back Randy Gross and Spady Budd one more position. And Dr. Porkchop pulls off, and that'll be the end of his qualifying session, knowing that that was probably the best he was able to produce so far.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's third position in the red plates, but overall a 10th position, which we're going to refer it to. Yeah. Behind that is going to be Philip Lee, very much off the pace, needing to find a little bit more lap time, and I do not see, oh no, he just began his lap, so obviously he's not gaining too much lap time.
Not gaining too much lap time because he's approaching the Corey Brend right now. And he's coming through pretty neatly himself. Phil Lee is set a 228.1 right now. Let's take a look at Jaeger Caro as he comes through the cutting. He's improving by quite a bit. He hasn't practiced in the rain, he says, but he's negotiating it pretty well. He's sitting all the way up in P7, second overall for the red plates, and he's improving by about a second right now. Let's see if he can maintain that momentum as we come through the mountain section.
This auto cam is doing my head in, I'm not gonna lie.
You'll get used
John
to
Jaeger Carter, though, I don't think I will. It's terrible.
Ooh,
whoa,
big drift
big
there
slip.
At McPhilly
Manages to keep
Park.
Control.
And come through the
down
S's
into the S's.
And on his way towards the Dippa. He holds on pretty well, almost touches the wall there, but that is the ideal line to be on. And he's able to gain, wow, even more time than he was before. He was up to 1.2, now through the forced elbow. He's negotiating this very well. This is going to be his last possible attempt, and now it's a straightaway all the way down the 1 kilometer Conrad straight in towards the chase we go. And he's going to, like Mike said earlier, push it all the way out to the white line on the left-hand part of the track. That way he can make this corner as long as possible and put himself into a proper racing line. There he goes all the way out into the runoff and cuts back over, breaking around the 150 board and deep on the brakes, able to come through the chase neatly. And wow, Jaeger Caro has improved by almost 2 seconds on this lap. Can he maintain this momentum? 1.7 right now. He's pushing really hard coming down towards Murray's corner. He's doing a great job of keeping it clean. He goes a little bit deep and wide. He goes over into the grass. 1.6, 1.7. Jaeger Carr promotes himself into the top 5 and pulls off a Saagar lap of a 222.5 despite the mistake that he made at the finish line.
You had to get the microscope out there to see the fact that he was still within track limits. I have no idea how he kept that lap valid, but it wasn't enough to dethrone Casey Swanseger, and Casey Swanseger is also on a lap right now, and he's actually the final one to complete, and he's flying, in fact. Potential pole position, I would say, on the cards here for Casey Swanseger. We'll see. He's another second to find if he wants to make that dream become a reality. However, P2 certainly on the cards. Ali Raza might be having a McLaren behind him here instead of an AMG as we get now down into the final few corners through the chase. Got to chuck it around that curve. Very safe line there. Loses pretty much all of his time, to be honest, and now looking at about a 4/10 improvement. Is he going to be able to find enough to overtake Justin Beachley? I do not think he is. He is going to improve, but the question is how much. As we go to the line here, it is going to be 4/10 more. 1.4 off, 2:21.6 was the time for Casey Swanseger.
He needed a little bit more time there to be able to get to the line, but he was able to produce his lap time and stay in 3rd place overall.
Well, you can go fully into the grass there and not invalidate? Shows what I know. But either way, we have 2.5 minutes here of a cooldown before the drivers take their out lap here on the mountain. It is a full out lap. You can see they're not starting on the top. And Saagar, go ahead and lead us in.
Alrighty, let's go ahead and start our livery rundown, everybody. And it's time to bust out everybody's favorite theme of the day. It's the sexy sacks, everybody. All right, in first place, we've got Ali Raza in the number 30 for the Razzle Dazzle Motorsports. Justin Beachley in the Catch Car in the Beach GT in the number 18 is in second place. And in third place, we've got Casey Swansinger in the Noobs Are Us third place vehicle right now. First place in the AMS. Then we've got Professor Commentators in the TRACKILICIOUS LSR 24-hour car in the number 42 in fourth place. Following that, we've got Jaeger Karu out of Jaeger Prime in fifth place right now in the 920. And George Elmer, Simnut Thundercats in the number 22 in sixth place. And we've got Josh Grush from FNM, the Fear Nothing Motocar, in 7th place, the number 35 AM. Joshua Worley, Squirrely Whirly himself, the Bass Pro Shops, partnered with Cabela's in the number 47. Luis Vasquez, Team BMW RBM in the 777 in 9th place. And then we've got Brian Clementi from Clementi Autosports in 10th place in the number 100.
Moving on to 11th, the number 71 machine here of Dr. Porkchop for the Aston Martin team, with the likes of the 55 Project 55 Randy Gross behind. Jacob Curtis in the Fear Nothing Moto taking home 13th position alongside of him for the number 68 Aston Martin, with Philip Lee company in the Porsche for the number 79 in 14th. Michael Campbell behind him for company in 15th position for the 799, with Spady Budd alongside in the number 21 for P16. 17th belonging to Alex Hansen for the 390 car. As we see, this is Spady Budd with the likes of Alex Hansen behind. And last but not least in the grid, Wade Georgeson for the 707 in the 6-star racing.
And what an amazing livery we see out of Wade Georgeson, and all the drivers as well, producing great liveries to showcase their personalities and their GT4 automobiles that they're driving. Wipers are on. The rain is still being produced right now, and we're going to see Rain Plus and Rain Plus for the next 30 minutes. 45-minute race, one mandatory pit stop where fuel is going to be mandatory and tires will be optional.
Indeed, and I would imagine most of these drivers are going to elect just to remain on their tires through the entire race. It is wet tires. 45 minutes is not really even enough to warrant a change in the dries, although it's Bathurst, you can get a bit of wear over the course of a 45-minute race. Is it worth the time? Probably not. In the wet, certainly is not. I don't think we're going to see a single driver elect for tires unless they misclicked or are going for a gamble that, hey, maybe they're smarter than I am.
And 5 seconds is nothing to really gain as well, because the optional tires will only take an additional 5 seconds, because the fixed fueling time is going to be 25 seconds. So a 30-second tire change really won't make or break your race unless you're in a close pack battle with someone and trying to really pull off a sneaky undercut. So we might see some people who are on a lap 1 pit stop try to find themselves in some clean air, and that move might make some sense to them. But otherwise, I'm really expecting a lot of the drivers to take those mandatory mandatory fuel with some tires to pair them up with.
Yeah, on Bathurst in particular, normally I would agree with you in the 45-minute race with a wet session to go for the pit stop on the first lap. However, the problem is if you pit by yourself and you don't come out in a pack or anyone around you, you're going to be missing out on the slipstream effect. And that is a cumulative effect that all of these drivers are going to be sharing. And yes, it's wet. The slipstream is worse. However, it is still an effect. And when you're out there on your own, you're not going to be lapping as quickly. You don't have kind of the bone to chase that a lot of people are going to have. It'd be an interesting call on Bathurst. It'd take a confident driver, I would say, to make that call. And whether or not it pays off, I think it certainly could. This is just the track, in my opinion, that is the worst one to do that strategy on. But Hungaro Ring, great call. Red Bull Ring as well, in terms of any of the shorter circuits with a lot of curves. I love it. I love that strategy. Or a last lap pit. Those are also spicy.
Last lap or first lap pit on those tracks, but I favor it here at the Bathurst Ring. I'm hoping to see someone break down this circuit and eventually take it first or within the first couple of minutes, and not just because they have damage, but because that's just what they're electing to do, because driving in some clean air and not having that spray in front of you has got to be an advantage at some point in the race, and getting it out of the way nice and early could be a big advantage if the cars can go 45 minutes on a full tank.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And there's one question. Is my audio synced up, chat? If I move my lips around, does it look like my audio synced? I just wanted to double check that because that was an issue I ran into the other day. just let me know. Either way, this is Casey Swan-Seeger. He's out there currently in the 84 McLaren. He has another McLaren. In fact, it's a McLaren showdown here with the Mercedes. Pretty much, I haven't seen this much violence between Germany and England since their extended holiday back in 1942.
Wow, it is all... Jesus, Mike. It is all McLarens and AMGs up at the front for the top 6 drivers. And then we have the USA rushing in late as always in 7th and 8th place. In the number 35 and the number 47 of Josh Grush and Joshua Worley.
That was great. That was a great ad. Oh man, the BMW coming up there in 9th position, the lone BMW on the grid, and the Austrian KTM of Michael Campbell down in 15th.
Oh God, I can't
Audio
even.
on my cam does seem to be slightly off. Okay, let me try something then. We do it live, folks. We do it live, and it might work.
God, Eric's even chiming in with this. I'm not even gonna read that comment. Ali Raza is coming around the final corner right now, setting us up to take the green flag. Take it away, Mike Nause.
2x2 Noah's Ark formation. Ali Raza ahead of Justin Beachley. I'm Mike Nause. Alongside me is Saagar Bakshi as we get ready to fly the green flag and go green, green, green. Ali Raza off to a commanding start, and Justin Beachley having to tuck immediately into the spray. Behind that is not quite the same story as Professor Chronotis and Casey Swan-Seeger dueling it out. It looks like Chronotis has found that advantage behind right now. It is the AMG wall right now, not the wall of Berlin. As we go through, it's going to be Jaeger Karu and George Elmer. That's going to be a shove and a half. Joshua Worley with the bump draft strategies. That's a dangerous one in a set, of course, of Competizione. And as we go now down into the first long right-hander, trying to get the brakes on in time. Everybody does so, and everybody does fan out, nip, and tuck. A dangerous situation avoided, but not quite out of the woods just yet.
Both of those Camaros pulling off NASCAR moves, giving those AMGs a little bump in the rump there to push them along and give them the hurry up. They were trying to get as much draft as possible. Josh Grush and Joshua Worley going side by side there. It's down the entire straight and on their way towards Quarry Bend, doing a great job of negotiating that one pretty nip and tuck. And it's very clean for the opening lap despite the treacherous conditions right now.
Very much so, but now we're going down the mountain, and this is where things can spice up quite intensely. Jaeger Karu chasing down Casey Swan-Seeger as Elmer is behind, currently with Grush chasing him down. One little mistake from any of these drivers can cause a parking lot as big as the... Oh no, it was on cue! I thought we were about to see the chaos incarnate. I think there was a little bit of a tap, but nothing more than that Dr. Porkchop deep in Forest Elbow. But it seems that everybody has survived on the first lap.
A couple of wheel dips into the grass and a couple of scrapes against the wall, but nothing to really write home about. These boys are driving very cleanly. Here goes a battle between Joshua Worley and Josh Grush. Is Battle of the Joshuas coming through. Whoa, really tight there as they send it over the chicane now. Here we go. The number 35 leads the number 47, getting a little squirrely there to his name, doing his name credit as he comes through the chase, and we're having a heck of a race here tonight, folks.
Yeah, Squirrely Whirly is definitely showing where he gets that name from, but he is also immediately back on the charge and right like a license plate on the back of that Camaro. Grush feeling the pressure. It's a Josh on Josh violence. Who is going to be the superior one? Bosworth, welcome. Yeah, indeed. Welcome, Mr. Bosworth in chat. Been a while since we've seen you around here. Interesting way of spelling my name, but I like it.
My canals, I was like, what is he talking about? Oh, okay, got it. Jacob Curtis from FNM and Randy Gross getting really close to each other. This AMR trying to get through on the Camaro up the inside of the Quarry Bend. A little bit of a hip check there, more than just a little bit on the inside line, and they're about to go 3 wide on the way up to the cutting now, and it looks like Spady Bud was able to capitalize on those two drivers' mistakes and them colliding with each other. Spady Bud doing a good job, promotes himself up into 11th place overall.
Oh goodness, this is a bit of a kerfuffle going on right now that we're looking at, it seems, with these drivers all fanning out in different directions, which is never good to see on the mountain. There's really only one line to follow, and when drivers start taking alternate lines, that's when you kind of need to perk up in your chair and say, oh, what's about to happen here? And I'm kind of asking myself that question right now, as Jacob Curtis is seemingly thinking about a move onto the into Skyline here. The cameraman is not able to catch up. These cars are so fast. It is incredible. But no, he does in fact go with discretion as the better part of valor, and he does back out for the time being. But I think he's going to pull the trigger sooner rather than later here, and he kind of has to when he has that Camaro. He's in a bit of a Camaro sandwich.
Let's take a look at Joshua Worley's battle as this keeps on battling out. The two Camaros still chasing each other down. Luis Vasquez waiting in the wings in that BMW coming down the Conrad straight. It looks like Joshua Worley's going to have the optimum line, being able to dip out as far as possible. Comes back across Josh Grush, and it's all neat and tidy. Now can he get on the brakes and hold on for the chase without getting a little bit squirrely there? He sure does. Joshua Worley's able to get an amazing overtake done. Set that one up from a mile away at the forest elbow and executed that perfectly coming into the chicane.
Lick the stamp and send it. That was textbook.
Really good move. Let's check out Randy Gross as well, and Jacob Curtis from FNM. Phil Lee having an incident, it looks like, slowing down by quite a bit after involving with Alex Hansen, and things are all clean, neat, and tidy for the background as well. But let's look at Spady Bud as he's about to get passed by Jacob Curtis from FNM. Can Spady Bud pull off a switchback? No, because Jacob Curtis parks it on the apex and slows them both down. This might leave him vulnerable to Randy Gross at the end of the day, as Gross is an equal machinery but can get a slipstream that Mike talked about early on and chase this one down. Spady Bud tries to cover off the inside line, gets a little bit of the hurry up bump in the rump there as Randy Gross looks towards the inside line, can't quite do it, returns to the optimum line, and that'll be it. Let's check out Luis Vasquez, a 10th back from Josh Grush here in the cutting.
Spady Bud is becoming quite the defensive, I don't know what the word is, but I don't know, fill in the blank there, because wow, I mean, we saw him in a similar spot on the previous race do a very aggressive move, and that was a very aggressive defense, to put it lightly, and he's honestly lucky that it didn't end up worse than it could have there. I mean, it was fair, I suppose, but just aggressive either way. Luis Vasquez here that we're currently riding along with, chasing down Grush, and Vasquez doesn't have really any opportunities going down the hill here. The Camaro has amazing brakes and should be able to outperform the BMW on the descent. Not when you clip the wall like that, though. Trading paint with the sponsors is not quite what you want to be doing on the second lap. Maybe you want to wait a little bit longer for that. There's still 38 minutes and 36 seconds.
But still 4/10 back from Josh Grush right now. The 3/10 gap is diminishing as that BMW is finding its pace behind that Camaro. Mike Nause talked about the slipstream being a huge advantage, and here it is up the inside line. Can he present himself there before the kink at the Conrad straight? No, not able to do so. Has to back out. The 777 falls in line neat and tidy one more time. Let's check out Randy Gross again, trying to get around Spady Bud. Backs out of it there at the kink of the Conrad straight again. Let's check out Brian Clemente as well, as Clemente and Alex Hansen were less than a 10th away from each other at one point coming down the Conrad straight. I think, again, backing out of it before the kink. That way there is no contact between the two drivers, because you can't really trust what the cars are doing beneath you during these wet and slippery conditions. So providing the best racing opportunity possible. And there goes Spady Bud into the pit lane, heeding my advice and dipping out early.
Certainly is. And Adam mentioning the Logan song, I was thinking about that the other day, and I cannot remember what song I was listening to, but it would have been perfect. But I don't know if you're into this type of music, Adam. I think we've talked about it in the past. But the Rod Wave album, dude, there are multiple songs from that album that you could throw into that playlist. It is great. I would highly recommend it. But again, I can't remember if that's your style of music or not. I think you're more, I can't remember if you're into rap.
Here comes a big send from Luis Vasquez around the outside of
button.
Griffin Mount, and he tries to go up the inside here at Reed Park, not able to produce any overtaking opportunity, but Josh Grush seemingly having a mistake at the cutting. Are you okay, Mike Nause? You look very guilty of something.
I'm just having mistakes left and right. I'm hitting all of the wrong buttons, and thankfully I'm not in charge of the stream tonight, because who knows, I probably would have hit the end stream button on accident at this point.
Now you've got me worried that the stream is still running. Thank God we're
No,
still
you're
live.
fine. Oh, goodness,
No.
Luis Vasquez is not running well as he has clattered the wall. Parking lot on the descent of the mountain, and Dr. Porkchop takes a bite out of Vasquez. I think Curtis managed to get through without issue, but chaos and calamity on lap 3.
Man, that was a battle that was really brewing up for Vasquez to chase down Joshua Grush. That was a move that was coming from a long time coming, and he just had to keep it together for a little bit longer. But here's a move that is happening out on track. Randy Gross trying to get around Jacob Curtis from FNM, and he's able to do so down the Conrad straight, but will Jacob Curtis be able to pull off a switchback going into the braking zone before the chicane? I don't think he's close enough quite there, although he is closing down by just a little bit. There it is on the braking zone. He gets a little squirrely on the brakes, closes down to just under 0.3 of a gap, but it's not close enough for him to make a move.
It certainly is not, as he's going to be trying to line it up now in through Murray's and into Hell Corner. But he's a bit too far back. We've seen some aggressive moves, I do have to say, from the Aston Martin. Randy Gross, though, in the Project 5.5, been a bit of a nuisance when it comes to the defense here for Curtis. He hasn't been able to make the move that he wants. Tries to set it up a little too far back again. Now the run down towards the Quarry Bend. Is he going to be able to find it? I don't think he is right now. This is where, Saagar, you mentioned that alternate pit strategy and maybe pitting early. I might like to see that right now from Curtis or even Randy Gross, to be honest.
For sure, but Beatty Bud getting a stop-go 30 for potentially speeding in the pits. That'll be what that stop-go 30 was for, as he went into the pits on lap 2 and unable to recover this one. Practice
Do you
his
think there's
pits.
something
But a battle still brewing between Randy Gross and Jacob Curtis from FNM, able to get through at turn 3, and now towards the cutting, the positions have just gotten inverted.
They have. Wait. They have, indeed, and that was a very opportunistic move there from the Aston Martin. Curtis not wasting any time, and well, Randy Gross kind of left for dead there. GT4s look like so much fun, says Shredlord TV, also with the hydrate. Gave you that hydrate, thank you very much.
Ooh,
yeah, GT4s are fun. Oh, we have, okay, you know, GT4s, I personally like them more than the GT3s, but also that's just because I don't have as much skill as I once had, so they're easier to drive.
Joshua Worley chasing down Jaeger Caro from Jaeger Prime, as Jaeger Caro had a little bit of a lovemaking session with one of those barriers, and now it looks like Joshua Worley is going to have this sign sealed and delivered. He's going to be alongside at the kink for sure. And it looks like the move might be there. Will it be a hip check? No. Jaeger Caro backs out, but tries to go back through on the inside line. Can he get that AMG parked? He sure does. And he blocks off that Camaro very neatly. And the Cabela's car of Joshua Worley is having a heck of a battle with Jaeger Caro right now.
That was an amazing defense, to be completely honest. He goes a little bit deep in the next corner. I'm not fully sure that was intentional. I'm just going to be honest. It looked like he went deep, to be completely honest, and then he kind of just had no choice but to put his car there. Either way, this is Joshua Worley trying to take that position back now, and he is going to be able to do so. I don't think Karu is going to have an answer back just yet. We have the long run, though, down to Quarry Bend, and it certainly can happen, but the Camaro here, I think, has the pace and has the advantage when it comes to the line. But yeah, I think Karu, I'd like to ask him afterwards, Karu, if you're watching this back, was that intentional? Did you mean to do that?
I wonder if Jaeger Caro would have pit then. That's a good, funny moment there. But no, let's check out Randy Gross again as the Jacob Curtis battle still rages on between these two drivers in the pouring rain of the Bathurst circuit. And it looks like the plus rain has not settled in yet, or the heavy light rain, as it should be called, I guess, has not come in yet, despite it showing 10 minutes there on the clock. We're just about to approach that timeline. We have approached that timeline and still nothing has changed, but the weather conditions still pouring down. The track is wet. It has not changed other than that so far. Otherwise, it would go greasy or green, and I doubt we're going to see that condition here.
One thing I'm seeing here, and I'm keeping an eye on, Curtis is pushing like a madman right now, and he's kind of hit the wall a couple times throughout this lap. Just brief little scrapes, nothing really to write home about. But as we go down Skyline now and into the Dippa, are we going to see a mistake? Because I feel like we're seeing a bit of overdriving from the Aston Martin team, and here's a great line from the Camaro as well as he's trying to set up a run onto the exit of the final corner. The rain does look like it has intensified almost on cue, Saagar. As you mentioned it seems to have gotten much heavier in just the past couple seconds, and now the slipstream of a century. Is Curtis going to be able to defend here?
Let's get on board with Randy Gross and see what they're doing. No, side by side already coming down the Conrad straight. We won't get an onboard shot of it, but the Camaro inherits the position back. The battle for 10th and 11th still continues, and back on the brakes, the AMR tries to snatch back a position, but can't quite do it. You're absolutely right. Jacob Curtis is driving like he's on a little bit of a warpath right now, not like he's on rails. The Sync Mesh car is just getting a little squirrely and it's touching the walls here or there, but Amadeo Castorino told us a little bit of a kiss is no problem, just as long as you keep the car driving in a straight line. But that Camaro, like you pointed out, is really pulling off the ideal lines, and the lap times are proving it as well. 220.5 for Randy Gross that last lap around. Jacob Curtis with a 221.4, so almost a 1 second gap separating these two drivers right now.
Indeed, and yeah, and that was also a Jackie Stewart quote as well, as that's how you drive Monaco perfectly, is you want your tires to kiss the wall, is how he described it. And yeah, I mean, it's true sometimes when you're the level of Amadeo Castorino or Jackie Stewart. When you're at, I don't want to say when you're not at that level, let's just put it that way, it's a lot harder. There's a big skill gap in certain cases, and a light tap of the wall is great, but a medium tap is where things start to get a little questionable, and then repeated medium taps is what we're kind of seeing with some of these cars, and you see their front ends picking up, and Dr. Porkchop kind of being the prime example, in my opinion, of what I'm talking about. But whoa, goodness, and that is kind of a bit of a scare. Randy Gross is putting the pressure onto Porkchop, and he is crumbling.
Yeah, Porkchop is feeling the heat right now. Gross is on a war mission right now. Look at the way he's negotiating these corners. He really paid attention to Amadeo's tips and tricks here, because you can see how well he's applying the throttle at the dip to get the car to rotate, applying a little bit of brake coming through Skyline to get the car to rotate there as well. And he's really just executing it well through the mountain section. Despite the Camaro not being the best mountain car, he's really getting this car to do what he wants it to do. And now he's chasing down Dr. Porkchop. He's about 8/10ths back right now, but he will catch up within the next lap or so, as Dr. Porkchop's only able to produce 221.6s compared to Randy Gross's 220s, and they actually might get the move done right here at the kink of the Conrad straight. Side by side, no, Gross backs out of it, tries to pull something off in the braking zone, scares Dr. Porkchop a little bit into going a little bit too deep there. But now they're both slowing down their lap times by a little bit. Randy Gross is about 4/10ths slower than his previous last lap, being his best lap as well.
Yeah, and is this going to be the opportunity that Randy's looking for? Dr. Porkchop's a little offline, but no, he is able to keep control of this car despite the fact that it's damaged. He seems to be struggling, and okay, never mind, that is on cue there. That's going to be Randy Gross lining it up, and a bit of an aggressive turn-in from Dr. Porkchop. I'll just be the first one to call that as it is, at least from the onboard perspective. Maybe we can take a quick little replay of that from the third person. I would like to get a second angle before making judgment. But it certainly looked like the Camaro was entitled to that space. Let's take a look, though. It's going to be, was the front wheel up to the wing mirror? That is the question we're asking ourselves as we reach the braking zone. And the answer to that is yes and no. I'll leave that one up to the stewards, to be honest. But I think that was the racing room was entitled there, in my opinion. Now, whether or not the rules agree with me, that I don't know.
I agree. I think the racing room should have been applied there. It looks like Jacob Curtis gets through on Randy Gross and Dr. Porkchop, as I think Randy Gross is trying to let Porkchop back through and ended up losing a position to Jacob Curtis overall. Professor Canotis going a little bit slower through the mountain section, but he's doing okay right now. The number 42 seemingly just driving his little heart out right now in second place, 20 seconds off of Ali Raza, but doing a great job of negotiating the mountain with relative ease.
Yeah, Chrono, the unpracticed man with the consistency of a lion. I don't know. I mean, this is pretty impressive, to be honest. Professor Chronotis, not necessarily one of the drivers I would have expected on the podium. Hi-Ho1, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the team here at TRACKILICIOUS. Thank you very much. I was going to mention, though, one thing. So we have Professor Cronotis on the top, Casey Swanseeger, only 2 seconds behind. George Elmer currently in a battle with Casey Swanseeger. This fight for second place is not done just yet. Cronotis really, he can't make a mistake at this point. He's got a 2.5 second gap. Last time around, a 2:18.4 to Casey's 2:20.5. So Cronotis this time around 2:20.8 though to the 2:19.5. So there's trading lap times as it seems.
Yeah, trading lap times a little bit, but Professor Cronotis still has the fastest lap to his name. He was going a little bit slower through the mountain section. I think something just may have spooked him a little bit, maybe pushing a little bit too hard, but I'm sure he can get down to those 2:19s again, as his fastest lap was a 2:18.4 compared to the 2:19s of Swansinger and George Elmer. But like you said, the battle for 3 and 4 still rages on. These guys only a second away from each other. Josh Grush into the pits a little bit earlier than later. Randy Gross as well, Dr. Porkchop as well. All 3 of those drivers into the pit lane. But you know who's already taken his pit stop is Mr. Jaeger Carter over in Jaeger Prime. The 920 already taken his pit stop. It looks like Casey Swansinger slows down and Elmer's able to go through just seemingly like he was just off the racing line.
Yeah, made it look pretty easy. I don't know if Casey fought that or not, or just made a mistake leading up into that corner. But Jaeger Carter, you mentioned taking a pit stop, taking a little bit more than just tires, a damage repair on top of that, costing him 50 seconds through pit lane. And they also, Jaeger, I think, came in chat earlier, in fact, and did confirm that it was, in fact, an intentional move. So first, no, not Jaeger. Wait, yes, Jaeger, right?
Yes, Jaeger. Yes.
Yeah. Yes. And just quit watching the stream while you're driving. Quit typing while you're driving. Goodness.
He did it while he was in the pits. It's all okay. Swansiger.
Love the interior. Appreciate the feedback.
Right on. Thank you very much. And Swansiger actually getting really close with Joshua Worley. This is the lead of the amateur division, or 4th place overall. And Joshua Worley chopping it up right now like he's a sous chef. And he's in 5th place, chasing down the 4th place position. And that Camaro is going to do work down the Conrad Straight on these McLarens that are going to top out relatively early. And the Camaro is just going to pull its weight around. And it's getting a little drifty there through the kink of the Conrad Straight, and there goes the 22 who's off. That's George Elmer who's off the track right now and seemingly having a big error. That's going to promote Casey Swansinger up into 3rd place, Joshua Worley into 4th place. Swansinger is into the pit lane right now. Elmer is still staying out right now in the number 22. Joshua Worley inherits the 4th position. Professor Cronotis into the pits right now, the number 42.
So Shredlord, quit typing while driving. I also do not advise that. I wasn't specifically talking to you, but now I am. Goodness, no, we don't advise texting while driving. Don't do that. It can wait till you get home. But thank you for tuning into the stream anyways. Also, I wanted to mention that in chat, people had mentioned that Rexy won. Yes, AO Racing did in fact take the IMSA title. You can go on their Instagram and see that. It is very cool, the post they made. And while you're over there, go follow TRACKILICIOUS on Instagram too. Just saying. Unintentional plug, but, you know, exclamation mark Insta, exclamation mark Instagram will get you there.
Let's see where Cronotis and Casey Swansinger come out on pit lane. It looks like Cronotis is able to actually get around Swansinger in the pit cycle. So that seems like it's all due fair in love and war. Swansinger just rolling out right now. Hopefully he'll get out into 3rd place where he belongs.
Yeah, I don't think he is. He's very delayed. What happened at Case? No, he did very similar. No, he's
relatively on pace right now.
Yeah, definitely not going to be 3rd though. He's going to be looking at I think at least a 4th, but maybe a 5th. I think a 4th though.
Well, with George Elmer having that big accident, he was promoted into 3rd right off the bat. But it could all change as the lap times still are coming and going. 2:22 left on the clock, everybody. We've got time left to go. Here's Alex Hansen chasing down Jacob Curtis. And Alex Hansen's had a pretty quiet race so far. He's up 12 positions overall, starting in 17th position and promoting himself all the way up into 5th place, but of course has not taken his pit stop cycle just yet.
Not yet, indeed. Most of the drivers are going to elect, I would imagine, on this lap or the next to come in. There's no point in not, it seems. And most of these drivers have opted, well, actually wouldn't say most. Some of them, a good majority of them have elected for tires, but I think Chrono going for the no tire strategy, again, I really enjoy that gamble that he's going to be making. It's gained him some time to Justin Beachley, but again, it's secured him that position over Casey Swanseeger and guaranteed
shaking
it.
Left, shaking right. Jacob Curtis from FNM goes a little bit off and deep, and hopefully Alex Hansen can avoid this rejoin that's about to take place, and he is able to avoid that rejoin. Jacob Curtis and Alex Hansen going wheel to wheel through the kink, and in these wet conditions, that AMR just went a little too deep there, and now Ollie Razas and Joshua Worley are both into the pits themselves.
And most of the drivers making their stops. Philip Lee has also, no, he hasn't come in. Beyond that, yes, Ollie Raza pulling the trigger on this lap, and actually a great point from chat. Has the rain stopped despite the fact that it says that it's raining and supposed to keep increasing? No, it's still raining. It's just the cameras that we were on not showing it. It definitely has not intensified. In fact, it's almost looking like it's gotten lighter despite the fact that the weather radar predicts the intensity. But no, actually, that's a really great shout, to be honest. And Shredlord, as you're driving and noticing that over the my goodness, okay. I'm not sure how to process all that.
He's got it on his big screen Android monitor, Android Auto monitor. I think that's the only thing that makes sense.
Just drive safe. That's all I wish.
Alex Hansen inherited second place for just a moment, but Ollie Raza came back out of the pits, and Alex Hansen yielded that position back over to Raza, and Raza is now chasing down what I believe is Spady Bud's car. Yes, that is the Spady Bud Prime vehicle. And now Ollie Raza has another car to contend with as a back marker, and he's able to get through pretty neatly, and Alex Hansen negotiates that one as well. Very easily done, as he was a blue flag car.
Yeah, and Alex Hansen here on the lead lap, but yes, the other car being a blue flag. He is going to be behind Ollie Raza now. Now, don't get too excited. This isn't going to amount to much, I would imagine. Alex Hansen still needs to come in for his pit stop. Ollie Raza did come in. He took new tires because why the heck not? He has such an advantage that it doesn't even matter.
Here goes the pit stop cycle almost being completed. The only drivers that have not taken their pit stops, George Elmer, Alex Hansen, and Jacob Curtis. I think Alex Hansen's going to drive this one to the bitter end. I think he wants to gain as many positions as possible, especially if he's behind a car like Ollie Raza. Like you said earlier, the slipstream paying advantage and having that white rabbit to chase has got to be feeding his ego just a little bit, and maybe a little too much as Alex Hansen goes off in that 390, hopefully avoiding all the barriers and other cars on track. That 390 is able to avoid any calamity, and the 390 is now into the pits to prove me wrong.
I actually don't think he lost much time, to be honest. That looked like he kept pretty good control of the car and cut the track pretty quickly. I honestly think he kept that pretty much on pace. So credit where credit's due, I guess. That was a dicey one. He tried to drive the Ollie Raza line. It did not work.
Oh, man. Yeah, no, having the white rabbit chase hurt him just a little bit there. Here's Beachley chasing down Jacob Curtis, not for position overall, but not for position overall, just due to the fact that Jacob Curtis still has to take his pit stop, and Elmer now serving his pit stop. Alex Hansen into the pit stop, the 390 that we just talked about earlier. So just Jacob Curtis, the Lone Ranger, the 68, staying out to the bitter end.
Indeed. And also Adam Strange, I've almost certainly watched that season. I don't remember that one specifically. But I've always been pro Family Guy, you know, like it's don't cancel me for saying that, but you know, it's fun. It was all right. It was a different time back then too. That's the other thing people need to remember. Is like, yes, could it be aired nowadays? No. Alex Hansen, into the line of fire here as he elected to not take tires. He comes out right behind Randy Gross. An excellent call here. But the question is does he have enough heat into the tires to potentially pounce? No, it seems that Randy Gross holds on for now. But Alex Hansen can stay in the slipstream, and I would imagine has a very similar advantage. Again, I don't think taking new tires makes much of a difference on these tracks, at least in these wet conditions. So I think Alex Hansen has a pretty even advantage.
Yeah, even advantage right now over Randy Gross, but he does have the heat generated in these tires. But Randy Gross has been on a bit of a warpath consistently flashy of the headlights from Beachley to Curtis, letting him know that he's actually battling for the lead of this race, kind of, sort of, not really. And he's able to get around Jacob Curtis from FNM pretty easily, as we've talked about, that AMG pulling out the stops. Mandatory pit stops is just for fuel. Tires are going to be optional. And the only drivers that have taken optional tires, or the drivers that have not taken optional tires, Beachley, Chronotis, going down the list, Hansen and Clementi, and Phil Lee not electing to take tires.
Yeah, it's like a 60-40 split right now is what I'm noticing from these drivers. I think more drivers leaning towards taking tires than not, but a good majority of drivers are in fact taking tires, but it is a fixed 25-second fuel time, so it's not just required to take fuel, it is required to remain stationary for 25 seconds. You have to take at least 1 liter of fuel, and you can take tires for an additional 5 seconds because tire changes take 30 seconds, so it's a bit of a wash in that case. But
What
still 5 seconds.
What AMG? The AMG we're looking at, the cat car. Of course. The GT4. Mercedes. Am I tripping?
I don't know what we're talking about.
I'm looking at the... anyways, back to the racing that we have at hand. Jacob Curtis chasing down Justin Beachley. And Justin Beachley is 11.2 off the pace, or off the leader right now, who is Ali Raza. Best lap he's been able to produce in this stint has been a 2:16.777. A lucky number for Ali Raza. And he's actually being a wet weather master right now. And he hasn't been challenged in this race, surprisingly, as Jacob Curtis pushes a little hard at the entrance to Skyline, goes off into the grasses, and as we've talked about before, the drivers just need to dial it back by 2% and call it a day.
Unless your name's Ali Raza and you can manage to put in a 2:16. That's just absurd, to be completely honest. Keep in mind that is basically the race pace of the rookies in the dry. It's a second off. I mean, I don't know what to say about that. That's pretty impressive. I guess that's really all there is to say is that is Ali Raza is only 12 seconds ahead of Justin Beachley. That's what surprises me the most, I think.
Well, we still have 14 and a half minutes left to go. Plenty of time for Ali Raza to keep on pulling away as Jacob Curtis still goes to the optimum line, pulls out that AMR, and then goes back to braking at the 150 board, and then comes through the chase now.
And he will presumably come in this lap, but also, I mean, at this point, yeah, he's just committed. He's going for the last lap strategy. I can respect it. I don't think it's going to work out for him, but hey, you know, I like it. I called it at the beginning, so I got to give him at least. He's a man of my heart. Where did he start? He started off in P13. He's gained 10 positions so far. We're looking at about a minute in terms of pit stops. So he'll come out not great. Just to be honest,
come out,
probably like 12th, maybe
12th,
13th. Yeah, not quite the ideal strategy that he would have liked, I think. But it's where he's made his bed at this point, and he kind of has to lie in it.
Yeah, and hopefully he can produce some better lap times. His last one was a 2:22.4. He's gonna keep on running into traffic. Chronotis will catch him in about 6 laps, which is going to be towards the race end. Joshua Worley right behind George Elmer, Casey Swansinger, Josh Grush, Jaeger Caro, Randy Gross, Alex Hansen, Brian Clementi, Phil Lee, Wade Georgeson, Dr. Porkchop, and Spady Bud. There's your 16 drivers still racing out their hearts tonight, folks.
Love to see it. And yeah, Wade Georgeson way down there from where he started. Well, actually, up 4 positions from where he started, but we've had that many drop-offs?
I think so.
Yeah, that's crazy, honestly. Yeah, fair enough. How many did we start with? We started with over 20. No, we had less than 20. We had like 18, I guess. Didn't
22.
we? How many we lost? 22?
22 cars to start this race.
Come on, guys. Stay in the race.
Full onboard lap requested with Joshua Worley. You want it, you got it, folks. Joshua Worley's onboard lap. Mike, do you want to walk us through a lap with the Camaro, or shall I?
I mean, you are fresh in the brain with the Amadeo tips, so why not you?
All right, coming around Forest Elbow, keeping it close to the wall, pushing it to the outside line as much as possible. If you go touch the wall, you will invalidate your lap, but a little kiss is nothing to shake a stick at. You're going to be all right there. Now coming down the Conrad straight, it's all neat and tidy and pretty much just flat out here. You're going to want to go to the outside curbing as soon as it shows up. There's a little patch of runoff that appears, and he's going to dip a wheel off there. Keep it flat out, going all the way to the curbing on the inside, braking right before the 150 board, and then turning in for the chase right when you see the 50 board. Cutting it back and forth, crisscross applesauce, getting through the chase, and then now you're going to be braking right around the 54 position board. You won't be able to see it here, but it's the second pit stop from the end. And now coming over, not touching the curves because it is a sharp fall off, and then getting to the line to start off the lap, Hell's Corner. Now you're going to be braking right between the 100 and the 50 board, but not too much earlier than that or too later than that because of the wet conditions that we're facing. Going through, he's not going to abuse all of the curbing because of the moisture that's developing all out on the green stuff. Coming down the mountain straight and headed towards the quarry bend, it's all flat out here, coming over the crest as well. You're going to see a patch of runoff appear on the left-hand side. You're going to brake right between the 150 board or 100 board in that moment, and you're going to want to get your wheels on the inside of this gutter-like curb. And on the inside, you're able to push all the way to the outside line, as well as pushing all the way in towards the cutting now, braking in a straight line as much as possible, but not drifting out too far, and using that same guttural that exists there for the curbing on the turn-in. Turning in right here at turn 6, you're going to turn at the tree, keep it flat out, maybe just a hair of a lift to keep the car stabilized, and now you're going to stay all flat out through Solomon Park pretty much. A hair of a lift here to get the car to rotate, and then back on throttle as early as possible. And again, another lift right before the crest as McPhillamy Park as you get ready to go into Skyline. Now Skyline's a bit tricky. You get a little lift off the brake, get on the brakes, get back on the brakes, lift off the throttle, get back on throttle, trail braking all around, and power down through the Dippa and negotiate this one very neatly. He's doing a great job of chasing down Professor Kenotis. A little let off there at Forest Elbows entrance, and now getting towards the inside line and throttling out as much as possible, and that's a lap around Bathurst.
Heck yeah, great job, Saagar. Very, very nice. As we now continue on, Joshua Worley here. He's got a bit of a gap ahead to make up when it comes to getting the position over Professor Kenotis. 1.5 seconds currently is the gap. Lap times, though, in favor of Worley, about 7/10 quicker on the previous time around the circuit. Kenotis 2:19.8 to the 2:19.2 from Worley. And in goes Curtis. Well, it's about time. Better late than never.
Yeah, let's see, excuse me, not Professor Kenotis, Jacob Curtis going into the pit lane, and let's see how that fares out for him. And hopefully he'll be able to catch back up and race for the remaining 9 minutes of the race. And Jacob Curtis into the pit lane. Joshua Worley gets promoted. George Elmer gets promoted, and a whole mess of other cars will get promoted. Where did Alex Hansen end up? Alex Hansen ended up in 11th place. Hopefully he can get himself into the top 10. Jaeger Caro chasing down Josh Grush. This is a battle that's going to continue to rage on as the AMG and the Camaro are equally powered down the straights, if I'm not mistaken. Right, Mike?
Sorry, I was trying to digest what the heck Bosworth said. I didn't quite catch that. Sorry.
Driving streamers don't make better voiceovers. That was great. Was that good or that bad?
That's what I was trying to do. I'm like, I'm trying to figure that out
real quick between Jaeger Caro and Josh Grush from F&M coming down the mountain straight. And like I said earlier, you're going to want to get on that inside line as quickly as possible. Grush is there, but has a big drift. Jaeger Caro on the outside line, able to maintain his traction though. And he's now going to have the inside line towards the cutting. He's doing a great job of maintaining it. Grush tries to come back across. He touches the wall, and that gutter on the outside just sucked him in. Now Jaeger Caro is there side by side at Griffin's Mount, trying to hold on. He's going to have the optimum line, but he has a big drift himself. And it looks like Josh Grush is able to go back through, and they're just battling it out like madmen right now. Whoa.
What a save, first off. Amazing from Jaeger Caro to be able to hold on to that car. Josh Grush, though, getting the overtake done when things got dicey. But Caro immediately back on the charge, pressuring Grush now. Down the mountain they go. It's going to have to be on the exit now of the Quarry Bend. Neil, that is great. My goodness, I like mine more, but that's still great.
Joshua Worley chasing down Professor Chronotis as well. Whoa, hold on. Joshua Worley has taken his pit stop. So is Professor Chronotis. Chronotis can be dethroned here from third place as Joshua Worley is trying to put the moves down on the number 42 McLaren that's right in front of him. And it's not too far off to say that Joshua Worley can find himself tasting some champagne tonight, as long as we don't give him the exclamation point curse tonight.
Yeah, so Chronotis here, he's put himself in a very interesting spot in that he elected to not take tires during his pit stop, which, to be fair, I thought was the valid strategy, but he definitely is compromised right now. Well, yes, that put him ahead of him in terms of strategy. Now that we've gone late in the race, the rubber has kind of got going, and, well, we can clearly see the difference between the two tire compounds, as well as the pressures. I think the track was a bit warmer when we started. It has cooled down since. But now, is this going to be the moment here? I think it might be. Professor Chronotis tries to defend the inside. It's a lunge and a half to the out for Joshua Worley. The Bass Pro Shop goes fishing, and he's gone a little bit deep there, snagged on the brush. He's going to have to try again.
Oh man, he's really going for it. He lost a lot of time. George Elmer now getting sucked into this podium battle as well. He's 8/10 away from Joshua Worley. This is about to be a three-way battle. George Elmer's pulling out amazing lap times, 2:19.6 compared to Joshua Worley's 2:20s and 2:21s from Chronotis. So Chronotis really just being a cork in the bottle right now. Let's go on board with George Elmer and see what he's doing.
He is currently in the spray right now, obviously not seeing too much as it's visibility is poor in these conditions, and that's a bit of an understatement, to be honest. Elmer there milking the cow, almost lost it briefly, but manages to keep it between the mayo and the mustard. And now going on the descent, the AMG lumbering in the rearview mirror of the Camaro, but the Camaro shouldn't really care about that. Worley right now has his targets fixated on the car ahead in Professor Chronotis.
And he's doing a good job of keeping it nice and tidy. His best lap being in 2:19.0 of the stint.
Wait.
And he's close to doing his personal best right now.
Never mind. I'm crazy. I thought a car disappeared out of that pack. The auto cams. We changed cameras and it messed me up. We're fine. We're fine.
Auto camera's not on, Mike.
Either way, it messed me up. I messed myself up. Like I say, I take the fall for that one.
Okay, as long as we're good. Bosworth says, I don't think sim racers celebrate with champagne. They just take a deep sigh, glancing at their hardware and think, hey, this is kind of worth it.
They're also just too young, most of them.
Most of them, yes.
Parker White just winning the iRacing eNASCAR championship for Williams. Managed to get a Coca-Cola for his hard work. That was, you know, I mean, not to mention the $100,000 that he also got, which, you know, that was like, give or take, kind of worth it. But he did also get a Coca-Cola handed to him from Dale Earnhardt. So that was probably more worth it, to be honest.
Is auto camera in the room with you right now, Mike?
It's going to haunt me in my dreams. I was losing my mind earlier, to be honest.
I turned it off just for you. I was like,
no,
okay.
I know. I appreciated it. It got better. No, it did. But
I was like, I can be director Saagar now. Perfect.
some of the camera angles just were like, what are you doing, auto cam?
Oh,
like,
Josh Crushing Jaeger car goes off in Hell's Corner, and that's why they call it Hell's Corner. Jaeger Caro gets a huge tank slapper as he dipped a wheel off into the green stuff, and it's awfully moist out there. Jaeger Caro's wheel, let's go ahead on a helmet camera and see if that thing is tracking straight. It is surprisingly straight for the most part.
It's quite the whack to the wall. So, yeah, I mean, he seems to be under mostly showroom-ready conditions. Good enough at least to make it to the end, I hope. But that was a very uncharacteristic mistake from Jaeger, as he almost has a bit. You can see the balance is off on the car, so he has to drive about 10% less right now just to keep the car on the circuit. Avoid that stationary water like it's a plague. And so far, so good. Oh, goodness. Wade Georgeson has made a chicane on the exit of a chicane.
Take a quick 30 for 30 back as we find out what happened here, because Dr. Porkchop was chasing Wade Georgeson pretty well here, and let's see what happened. Was there any incidences? Oh, a little bit of bumping and grinding there from Dr. Porkchop into him, and Mike Nause is absolutely enormous right now.
I'm very large. Don't mind me. Don't mind me, Chad. I pay no mind to the man behind the curtain. We're back.
That's enormous.
We do it live here, folks. What has happened to Saagar's OBS? I have no idea.
Oh,
but
man. You're
But
the
it
first
is
person
not.
I've streamed with since Carson Cast, okay? It's been that long. R.I.P. Carson. Of course.
R.I.P. Carson. He's still alive. He's doing great.
No,
in case
no,
anyone was
no!
curious. Oh, goodness.
Joshua Worley, no! Goes off at the final quarter, and Elmer goes through after chasing Chronotis for the past 10.5 minutes. He's got 2 laps left to go and couldn't keep it collected
Beachley crashed.
for a podium. Beachley is
Beachley's crashed.
Beachley's crashed
Oh,
at
goodness.
the top of the mountain.
He's Austin Powers it.
Oh no! Is he even going
Okay,
the right
he's
way?
out.
He is.
No, he's
okay.
out. He's out. Wow,
Let's
he
take a
had
look
quite
at
the lead. Chronotis is 9 seconds, 8 seconds, 7 seconds. Chronotis is not too far behind. Honestly, the car looks fine,
The car
to be
looks
completely
fine.
honest. I think
see.
he just had a bit of a spin.
Let's see if we can get a look at what happened to the number 18.
Oh, I'm
and
big
I'm going to
again.
go ahead and turn you off, Mike.
That's fine.
And it looks like everything's coming to be all right here as he comes through the cutting. And then all of a sudden, just a big drift as he gets on throttle. And it might be due to the fact that he didn't take those tires. And it's just whispering away from him right
did.
now.
Beachley took tires. But
29.8.
yeah, that was just. I see 30.1.
Oh, okay. Well, we're seeing different data here.
That's odd. Maybe he didn't then, because that's pretty. He'd have to have a pretty perfect stop if that was the case. So maybe he didn't.
True that. True that.
But that was a case of trying to turn the car right, and the car didn't stop turning right. He tried to straighten it back out, but the car just continued like a pendulum, spun around, and well, it was really just a dramatic nothing, to be honest. Just a dramatic time loss.
Oh man, dramatic time loss. What a race end here that we're about to see. The leader's finally on the last lap. Hopefully Beachley can rustle it home. Hold on, here's Randy Gross getting really close to Alex Hansen right now, nestled into the top 10. Battle for 9th and 8th overall. It looks like Hansen was able to get past Gross. Let's see if we can get another look at this one real quick. Up the inside through the fast left-hander of McPhillamy Park, and then on his way through, it's done and dusted, leaves him in the grass behind him, Randy Gross, and he just can't do anything about that one.
No, he really couldn't. I think that was a mistake that we must have missed leading up to that, I would imagine. That was, he was very offline and almost didn't really fight it, which was uncharacteristic on the final lap for Randy Gross for certain. Almost would, yeah, certainly chalk that up to a mistake, and a uncharacteristic one at that, but he's immediately got fixated back onto Hansen. Now, the one unfortunate thing about this is now that we have had quite a few disconnects and the fact that Gross and Hansen are battling, this isn't actually for any points. Yeah, it's, like I say, this is annoying, but not in my hearts. There's only one class out there. Everybody is in the same class in my mind.
They're still battling for points overall. Is the Jazz? Sexy Sax came back? Oh my god. Get out of
Whenever
here,
you go into
sexy
replay.
sax. Get out of here, you sexy saxophone. Stop it. We don't need you around anymore. Golly.
We need it around. It's great. The sexy sax is great.
We don't
Anyways,
need
the
it
leader
right now.
is going to be coming now down the Conrad straight, Ali Raza, who we haven't really seen for the past 45 minutes, but here we are.
Ali Raza finally coming through the kink of the Conrad straight now. He's going to drive neat and tidy for the most part. He's got a 32.7 second gap to Justin Beachley behind. He can pretty much just walk it home if he needed to at this rate in time. But Ali Raza's fastest lap being a 2:16.882, really showing us how to get it done here at the Bathurst track in the rain.
He is, and now coming around Murray's corner, Ali Raza for round 6 of the TRACKILICIOUS GT4 Open Championship comes across the line and takes the victory ahead of Justin Beachley for 2nd and Professor Chronotis, who is more than likely going to take home 3rd, but honestly, that's not fully decided yet. Chronotis currently has a bit of pressure being piled on him from George Elmer, and one mistake is all it's going to take for that to come to a conclusion. Justin Beachley, though, now getting ready to head to the line. Chronotis has not managed to get overtaken as they go into the chase. And there is the cat car, Justin Beachley, coming across the line. Chronotis, I think, has managed to hold on into the final corner. They still have one more opportunity, does George Elmer, but you can see he's a bit far back to make that happen. Chronotis will be taking home 3rd place with the alternate tire strategy.
Not too shabby, and Elmer sticking to him like the glue he's named after. In fourth place, just separated by less than 1 second, Joshua Worley brings it home in fifth. Swansinger in the AM class will take home first place. In sixth place overall, Josh Grush from FNM will take home second place, seventh place overall. Alex Hansen is going to be in third place for the amateurs, and that's a lot of position gain for Alex Hansen. 9 overall, started in 17th place, ended up in 8th. Alex Hansen tends to have these kinds of victories, doesn't he?
Yeah, not too shabby. He's got to work on his qualifying, I think, is really what that kind of tells me, is that, yes, he's making up a lot of ground consistently, which means he has great race pace, but he's just not able to put the times down in qualifying. So that's something that he needs to work on in the future, I think, is his hot lapping and just the ability in general to get himself in a position to capitalize on his great race pace, because he clearly has the harder part of the two down. He just needs to be able to transition to qualifying, which I couldn't do either when I was a driver, to be fair. You know, it's just a different mindset trying to... He has the same thing with me, is where his qualifying pace is his race pace. And that just kind of, it's good, but you need to find a little bit more in the quali sessions.
Yeah, absolutely. Maybe that just comes down to practicing with lower fuel and finding a setup that works for you in that setting. But overall, settling down with a top 10 for Alex Hansen's got to feel pretty good. Ali Raza, Beachley, and Professor Kronotis being the top 3 finishers of this race.
Definitely nothing to shake a stick at. And for the top 3, an excellent job, Ali Raza, Justin Beachley, and Professor Kronotis, who we will be hearing from shortly. I think we do have pretty much everybody, Saagar. Are we ready to begin the interviews?
Absolutely. Let's take it away, Mike. I'll let you go first.
Sounds good. We will start off with our third position finisher, Mr. Professor Kronotis, a driver that we also don't see too much on the podium. Chrono, how's it going?
Oh, I was driving around there with some balloons on my wheels.
Yeah, so that was that the right strategy call then, electing to go for the no tire strat? Because obviously you had George Elmer glued onto you there at the back.
No, it was definitely not, especially considering from the super wet conditions in quali. I actually went up in tire pressures because I was like, it was medium rain in quali, and I see medium rain plus coming, so I should have a little bit more PSI. Well, I was 31 PSI by the time we got to the dipper in the formation lap. So it was a rough race on the tires. And then I didn't change because I'm an idiot. And I was like, what could go wrong? It seems fine so far. It's still, maybe it'll continue to come in there into the 32s. I was thinking out of the 33s, it's improving. And then I had a 10-second gap coming out of the pits, and 5 minutes later, it was a 6-second gap, and there's still 15 minutes left in the race. And I was, quick math, it's not going to make it. So we
you did.
held on. We held on under those conditions anyway. It was fun trying to stay ahead of those guys on their better tires.
Yeah, no, I mean, to be fair, honestly, I was with you on the strategy call. I thought that was the right call as well, but clearly the track temp just didn't allow it. The Bathurst sun was too intense despite the rain. But Chrono, before we move on here, is there anyone you'd like to thank?
No.
All right.
Just me this time. Did it all by myself this
Let's
time.
go. Honestly, I don't think we get enough thanks for that. So, Chrono, I can respect that. A confident driver, a man who we don't see on the podium much. And you know what? He should thank himself for that. So, Chrono, congratulations. Great job.
Thank you, Mike.
Now, up next, Saagar. I think you have had a chance to catch up with our second place finisher, Mr. Justin Beachley.
Justin Beachley, how's my cat Cece doing?
She's great. She's actually sleeping on the couch right now. So having a good time.
Did Cece enjoy the rain race that you guys had at Bathurst, or just yourself?
Just me, I think. I mean, I definitely made it interesting there, the second to last lap.
Yeah, talk us about what happened there. We narrowly missed it.
Yeah, I mean, I was exiting T2 and just kind of barely clipped the left rear on the exit and just went around. Fortunately, I had a large enough gap that I was able to kind of get it situated and kept P2, but, I think it might have been a little complacency at that point, just kind of hanging out in second place all night. But, glad I recovered and glad for another P2.
Pretty great job driving nonetheless, Justin Beachley. you're able to secure that P2 position. That's got to feel pretty good, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, P1 was always going to be pretty much out of reach if Raza was going to race the entire season. So getting P2, I was within a second in qualifying to Ollie as well. So, wins all around for me, I think.
Yeah, and your points secured for the standings as well, staying ahead of George Elmer for now. Congratulations on that.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, it's kind of bringing it all together at the end of the season here. We got Zandvoort and the Nordschleife to come up, which will be fun. I didn't realize. I thought we had a 7-round championship and it's 8. So I think last week I said, next week was the Nordschleife, but that's okay. Got an extra week to practice, and I think it'll be an exciting end of the season regardless.
Surprise! No, absolutely. It will be an exciting end of the season. I'm looking forward to it. Is there anybody that you want to thank or any part of your race that we may have missed before we let you go?
You know what? I think I keep saying this, but thank you to everybody that participates in this series. I know Bathurst in the rain kind of turned some people off, but the people that did show up tonight, I think did a really good job. It was an exciting race, even though I was kind of by myself most of the time. But it's always a fun time hanging out with everybody in the voice chats and just having some friendly competition. So thanks to everybody that's in this series.
Right on. Well, that's a welcome surprise. Thank you very much, Justin Beachley, for your participation as well. And keep on putting on a good show for us. Thank you so much and have a good night, sir.
Yeah, you too. Have a good night, guys.
And last but not least, the razzle dazzle himself, Ollie Raza.
Hello.
Hello. How do you feel, Ollie Raza, walking away with a P1? Do you feel like you've redeemed yourself in these wet races so far?
Yeah, I guess it's giving me that confidence back after all my bad races the past few weeks.
Well, I wouldn't call them bad races. They've just been battling races, that's for sure. You've done a great job of putting on a good show for all of us to watch, and all of a sudden, you're just walking away with it. Did you put in quite a bit of practice for this one event?
No, not at all. I was actually super busy this weekend because I literally came like 20 minutes before the race.
Did you at least know that it was going to be moist out there before you started driving the track?
No, I looked at the leaderboard and people were doing 212s. So like, wait, it's got to be dry. So I was like, oh shoot, it's wet.
Oh man, so doing everything on the fly and still putting on a heck of a performance, Ollie Rouse, really proving to us why you're the alien that you are. Well, congratulations. Is there anything in your race we may have missed or anything you want to talk about before we let you go?
Well, I mean, there was a little yellow flag that somebody spun out in the cutting, I think, and then it was a close call. Like, he moved away right at the last second, so that's about it. Nothing else was exciting.
Yeah, pretty cut and dry, but the rest of the race was very exciting for all of us to be participating in and for us to watch. So thank you very much for putting on an amazing show, Ollie Raza. Appreciate your participation.
Thank you.
Have a wonderful night and remember to stay safe.
Yeah, you too.
Well, folks, I think that's going to do it. That is the GT4 rookies and the GT4 Open concluded for round 6 at the Mountain Bathurst. Saagar, any notes before we send it off here tonight?
No, that's it for me. Thank you very much, everybody, for your love and being here in chat, whether you're driving, watching, or driving a real car. Thank you very much for your love and participation here in chat. And remember to please stay safe out there.
Absolutely. Also, anyone that hasn't already on the YouTube side of things or the Twitch side of things, make sure you hit that subscribe button. If you are on YouTube, hit that follow button. If you are on Twitch, it means a ton to us. We just hit 2,300 followers on Twitch, which you guys are absolutely amazing. That number continues to climb. You can see the goal beneath our feet, I guess, but floating in the spooky void. But anyways, I hope everybody has a lovely evening, afternoon, or morning, wherever you are in this fine world. We'll be back very soon. Wednesday, West Coast. No, tomorrow. We're going to be back tomorrow for the coaching with Amadeo for the next GT4 championship. Saagar will be at the helm for that one. As it stands, though, that's been the us for tonight. Mike, Nause, Saagar, Bakshi behind the booth. Hope everyone has a lovely evening, afternoon, or morning, wherever you are in this fine world. I am going to raid, before I forget, we're going to raid Buana, who's doing some flight sim. They used to drive in ACC with us, and they're currently doing some simulation on some flying. So go watch him drive an Airbus A103, I think is what he's flying from the looks of it, but I can't quite tell. Either way, hope everyone has a lovely evening or morning, wherever you are in this fine world. Thank you, and good night.